something that is maybe a little bit weird. I can discuss how it would be good or bad depending on certain opponents. You know, maybe if the guy's loose, we can do this. If he's tight, we can do this. All right. So I'm
Okay,
gonna
cool.
skip past the very standard hands, and we're not going to look at our opponents too much. It'll take too long if we looked at everyone's play
Of
in
course.
super depth. So sevens, mining from middle position, pretty standard.
Yeah.
So what's your opinion on this flop? Would you be c-betting
Like,
this, or would you just not?
um, and this is totally opponent dependent, I think, because this board hits my range way harder than it does his, so you can immediately start turning the sevens into a bluff on the flop. You can also check it back, but I think by checking back, you just open yourself up to being bluffed. So I prefer to take this as one of my bluff hands to just see bet it and try to if we can take it down, and sometimes barrel on like on tens, aces, diamonds to make him fold a jack.
Yeah, okay. So yeah,
That's how I.
I agree. It's pretty opponent dependent. I'd say if he's a tighter player, this hits him fairly hard as well, but it
Actually,
does hit
pretty.
you.
Yeah, exactly.
But if he's a loose player, he's going to have more mid-suited connectors and just middling random cards that he's going to be folding.
Yeah,
Yeah, so I don't, and also a looser player, you can see bet and then barrel them because their check calling range is much weaker than a tighter player. So
true.
yeah, I'd say against a tighter player, I might just give up or maybe try a delayed c bet if he checks twice. But against a
Yeah,
looser player, I like the c bet. And yeah, we check back, so maybe he's a tight player, and we give up. All
and
right.
on the turn, yeah, I just give it up, of course.
Yep, seems fine. Well, we're hitting three bet from middle position from a
I think I
uh,
remember the hand.
yeah. This guy's got around 40
40
big
bigs.
blinds. 40 big blinds.
Pretty much exactly, yes.
Yeah. His three bet size is pretty standard, I'd say. Not too small, not too big. It's a good sizing.
Yeah,
Um,
2.5x.
I mean, what would you do here? Ask you
Flat.
first. Okay.
Because I don't like by four betting, I think we make him play perfectly. He's not gonna get it in with ace queen. Um, if we get it in with him, we are always flipping or way behind. And it's just totally unnecessary to like take a flip for 40 big blinds at this stage of the tournament in these positions. And since we never get it in against the worst hand, like I don't see a reason to four bet there. I would just flat and kind of underwrap my hand.
That
That's
makes
how
sense.
I
I
would
like it.
see it.
Yeah, that's good.
And I think that's what I do.
Yep, perfect.
Oh, oh, you know Joe Santana? I
I
think
don't know him,
I,
no.
yeah, he's a supernova.
Okay.
And this is going to be a very, very interesting hand.
Hmm.
And this is like, this hand is going to rely a lot on stats because I think I have over 700 hands with him, with is a ton in MTTs.
Yeah, that's huge.
And that's why I play the hand differently than I would usually do.
Okay. Well, you're at the top of your range here, so I don't think we can ever
Exactly.
fold.
Of course not. Of course not.
So,
But against most players, I would just check call
hmm.
because we have the board pretty much like it feels like we have it locked up because he's not three betting ace 10 or ace 9. I mean, he might three bet it as a bluff, but um, yeah, I think I would just check call against most players. But against him, I decided to go for the check raise because I was ready to get it in because
Okay.
he's hyper aggro.
All right.
And I felt like if he had like Jack 8 or Queen Jack, he was just gonna ship it. And
Okay,
yeah,
cool. That makes sense. Um,
so I go for an induce for a very, very small sizing to make it look like maybe we just want to check raise because we don't believe him or
yeah.
just want to take it out.
So you're trying to get value from Jack 8, Queen Jack,
Flush
um,
draws
flush draws, yeah. Okay.
and some worse ace X like ace queen, ace jack suited. I mean, sometimes
Yeah, of
we're
course, those
fucked by ace
hands.
10 or
If
ace
those
9,
hands bet
but
here, they're not going to bet fold. So,
exactly.
yeah. But it's a question of whether he bets those, because I don't think he would bet ace jack here all the time. He would just check sometimes.
That's true. To underwrap his hand as well.
Exactly. I mean, we do have the ace of hearts, so I think that um, works in our favor to check call maybe slightly more often because we're not so scared of heart turns and we can just check call turn as well. But I do agree if you have those reads that he's super laggy, and
He is like at the moment we have Nod Limit in the chat who plays the same stakes in MTTs like I do, and he's
mhm.
always in the Twitch chat. What up, Nod? And he says Santana definitely put all his ace X suited in there with his stack size. So I think we should
Oh
definitely
yeah, that's perfect then.
go go for stacking with him.
Yeah, and
Go for
also like
stacks.
this is a really good sizing by you because he might think that you're bluffing here because it looks
I
like
mean,
you can still fold.
it would make total sense. He's always c-bet, like, he's c-betting that board with most of his range. So
Exactly.
it's a perfect spot to check raise and try to leverage his deck because that's what we exactly do. We ask him, do you want to play for it or do you not? Because he
Mm.
cannot really flat that bad. He just can't.
Yeah, no, he can't because no matter what, you're just shoving any turn, even if you have bluffs. So if he flats, like it makes me think he
Exactly.
has a set
Yeah.
or
It's just, I think he's super polarized
yeah.
when he
Yeah, I like
flats
it.
there. And
So against him, he's super laggy. We're opening up our check raise value range on the flop, and including ace king. Whereas against most people, we just check call. I mean, it sounds perfect.
and
Wow,
there
that's
you see
super
how
lag.
fucking light he three bets,
Yeah,
and he has like three bet stats over 700 hands. Has a three bet like 17%, which is nuts,
yeah, that's crazy.
and that's a big hold.
Yeah, that's a good point, Chris. Like, if he does three bet his weak aces, I don't think he's c betting 100% of those. I think he's
Yeah,
just
that's
checking
a
back
good
with like
question.
ace five, ace seven, ace eight. He's just checking.
He might,
So,
yeah.
but still, because of our read, I still think I like the check raise best. I mean, look at this. He's
It's like we're
yeah.
dodging everything.
See, the problem with c betting, if you're in villain's seat with Joe Santana, if you're Joe Santana here and you're in this spot, you three bet pre-flop with ace five suited, like the ace five of green, and you get called and you see
Puppy
this
dog
board.
feed. Yeah,
If you c bet and go broke, you're just
it's terrible.
praying to see like a flush draw,
Queen Jack.
yeah, or
Yeah, or
queen
Queen
jack,
Jack.
you know, and yeah, I would never c bet here with like ace five. I'd always just check. And you can also check hands as strong as ace queen or ace 10 to balance that range. And you can even, we can't really check sets, but you can check a lot of your the strong part of your range as well to protect that ace 5 check back. So,
Yeah.
yeah. Anyway, so I think your play is really good there. Running hot. So,
Yep.
raising nines, middle position, flop top set against two opponents. I mean, I think it's pretty standard just to bet, especially on this
Yes.
board
Like
where it's
there are
very
so
drawy.
many draws out there. Like in a different spot, I would sometimes check, but this is like a mandatory c bet, I think.
Mm. And I would bet probably bigger than half pot because of how many draws out there and because it's three-way. So I like
Yeah, and
maybe
if you bet bigger than half
5,500.
pot, you're just gonna get it in with the draws, and that's what you kind of want to, because you don't
Exactly.
want just have them flat because of your sizing, and that's where I think I'm gonna make a mistake because I think I'm gonna bet too small, but we
Yeah.
will see. Yeah, I would like a bit of bigger bet there as well.
Ah, it doesn't matter when you hit quads.
Death by
I
quads,
mean,
maybe.
I think I just check here. The pot's huge, and it might make it a little bit awkward if he bets small. Because if he bets small and you just check raise, it looks super strong. And if you bet small
I
and you check
I
call,
I think it's like a perfect spot for a check call because we would check call with all our overpairs. He could like we would check with basically a whole range there, wouldn't we? Like like he has some nines in his range from flatting there, like 9-10 suited, maybe 9-8 suited, maybe Jack 9 suited, Ace 9 suited, and um, do we continue betting there with like kings, queens, or jacks? I don't know. And
I
that's
think
why
you
I
check
like
call
attacking
against
more.
pretty much everyone, yeah, with those
Yeah,
hands.
exactly. And I think that's what I'm gonna do. I'm actually pretty sure. And this is like I remember that hand exactly because it's pretty freaking crazy, but I'm not gonna spoil it. But
Yeah, like the
I
problem
like
is,
a check call.
I like check call, but it's hard to get max value because we're giving up the betting lead, and now we're out of position. And on the river after check calling, the pot will be like 33. He's got one pot size bet left, but if you donk here, it looks really nutted. So
Yeah, and that's why I think check calling turn and then checking all rivers is probably the way to go because I think I especially like checking turn because if we bet again, he might fold a flush draw because the board is paired and because he just has an SPR of one. If I bet like because I would probably bet the same size, and if he misses, he always has to fold. So I think checking and there's no problem with him checking back because we want to give him the opportunity to like hit his draw if he has like Jack 10 or a flush draw. It's perfectly fine to let him check back and let him try to get there. I
yeah.
think
Well, yeah, it's perfectly fine. I agree. I like this line. I think it's the best line. There are merits to taking a different line here.
to betting
Like
turn, you mean?
depends on the opponent, you know. If he's a very sticky, passive player, I think just bet is going to be better because that kind of player will
Yeah,
always call turn with Jack 10 anyway. But if you check to them,
it's
he's going to
true.
take a free card.
It's
Um,
true.
but against like your standard tag, tight, unknown, this is definitely the best way to play it. And obviously, it's always hard to get value when you have quads because it's hard for them to have anything else. But on this board, he can actually have a lot of value hands that he value bets river now, and you can just check raise for max values. So yeah, I like it. I think this is well played.
You have wait, no, don't do it, don't do it. I wanted to
You
ask you
wanted
what you
to?
think he has
Okay,
because,
yeah.
like, what the fuck is he doing? Bet calling the river, like that is so
Yeah,
ridiculous.
he's bad, obviously. You don't want to bet call there with kings. Actually, I think
He's turning them into a bluff, you mean?
his value
And then
bet
he's
is
just
is
calling because, okay, fuck it, I got kings. Maybe he has like jacks and bluffs
yeah,
now.
exactly. No, he should just check here on the river. He really beats nothing. After you c bet and then check call turn, I guess the only hand that he is trying to get value from is queens and jacks and tens, but you're probably not calling those hands on this river card. So
It's like a snap check back with the king's
yeah, it
bet, in my
is
opinion.
definitely. I agree.
Yeah,
He thought he was value betting, but
but then he got
it's
the
pretty
bad
clear he
news.
had no idea what he was doing because he bet called. He was just
Yeah,
clicking buttons.
and just the way like the line he's taking with that hand is just horrific on that board.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that puts us to a pretty sweet stack.
100 big blinds, looking good.
Yep. Yeah, pretty
I think it's
standard fold,
standard.
Jack eight.
Yeah, I think it's standard.
Like there, I don't see a need to get involved
No. If I
with.
was going to play this, I would 3-bet, but I don't really like
Yeah,
3
of course.
betting.
That's the gap
Um,
concept. Like you need
yeah.
a stronger hand for flatting than for three betting. So definitely either three bet or fold, but it's just unnecessary. We have such a beautiful stack. Let's take like really big plus EV spots.
Yeah. And we're in the small blind, so 3-betting, he'd be in position and he'd be more likely to flat and, you know,
Exactly.
I think
So
I'd 3-bet on the button, so I'd think about it at least. Ooh, you're just
I
running
mean,
so good.
that's true.
So what's your standard line in this spot? Do you just bet against unknowns or do you check back?
I think on this board with this hand against a random big blind range, this is kind of a mandatory check. There are
Hmm.
no draws at all out there.
Yeah,
And
we're
we
so
want to
far ahead.
like we're never getting three streets of value from a nine. We are never getting three streets of value from a worse ace because there are basically no worse aces. And I think we can maybe go for two streets. And if he has nothing, he's going to check fold anyway. So let's give him a chance to get there and make a pair.
Yep, I like it.
So I would always check this back.
I would only bet against guys that I have good reads on that I know are very loose passive and they're just not going to
Yeah, it's
fold
kind
paired
of like
boards.
yeah, it's kind of like a little bit of range merging because you would always see that with nothing on that board. You're against like players you know, so you should
Mm,
probably see that with with the stronger hands as well.
yeah. Okay, yep, perfect. Good sizing. Like it. You have to bet now to try and get some value. Even though
Exactly.
he
There is a
probably has
flush draw
none.
out there now. So yeah.
Okay, standard call. Hmm. I mean, I think we definitely have to call once against everyone. Although it is
And this is
fairly
another
strong.
regular. He is another
Okay.
regular. Gambit 77. And against him, we definitely have to check call
So
with a
wait, he
pair.
he is a regular, is what you said?
Yeah, he is a
Okay.
regular,
Okay, definitely you got to check call against a regular.
of
Against
course.
a random unknown, I'm not sure if they're necessarily betting wide enough into two players to make
Yeah,
your
you
eight
could
kick.
sometimes just check folded. That is true.
Yeah. But against the regular, I like it because not only can you just have the best hand, um, but there are certainly some situations where you can turn your hand into a bluff and make a good player fold, depending on the runouts. So like, let's say it just comes like heart, and he checks back, you can just bluff river, and I think he's going to be very scared of a flush.
True. And then he
Okay, so
goes
he's
super
barreling the
small.
blank. This is a really blank card.
Yeah. And I was like, I think this is the first big misstep I make in the whole tournament because this is really a bluff sizing. I think
Hmm.
with his draws, he goes bigger to maximize his fold equity, and I think this is like weakish made value hand like King Nine suited, King Jack, Ace 10, pocket jacks, pocket queens maybe that plans on checking back the river.
Yeah, I agree. And I think that this card, he just expects you to call because
Yeah,
not only is he sizing it small, but it changes nothing. So, like, if you call that flop, this is definitely him just milking value because there's no way that is going to be a scared card for you. So, when he's betting here, I think he just has a better hand than 10-8. So, I'd probably
exactly.
just
And
fold here. Even though we're getting
I'm
very good
just
odds.
yeah, and I'm just a fish, and of course I call
I mean, it's not the
because I
worst
have
call I've ever seen, but
yeah, and this is like the worst river card in the deck
I mean, I
because
think
when
that's
I call
actually a
turn,
pretty good card for you because it makes it less likely he has a king, and I think a lot of his value range was a king, so that's a pretty good card for you.
yeah, like technically speaking, it's a good card for me, but like when we have the read on the turn that he has a weakish value hand, then we are already beat. When we say we don't think he has many draws, if we think that is the case, this is a bad river card because we have to pay it off.
Exactly. I,
Yeah.
if we're making that turn read on his range, we would just fold turn. But if we were to call
Yeah.
turn because we think that
We,
he's for some reason he had a lot of draws, then we have to
yeah.
call now because all the draws miss,
Exactly.
and it makes it less
And
likely he has a king. He can still value bet here with ace 10, which really
and you can
sucks.
comfortably value bet like jacks or queens.
Exactly, yes. Um, Jacks, Queens, and even Ace 10, I'd say he could
Yeah.
thin value bet. Especially for this sizing. His sizings are really good. So I
Yeah.
wouldn't be
He's
surprised to see
regular.
you call here the way that you've been playing this hand.
Yeah, of course I call. And of course he shows a weakish king.
He has got the king.
Like
Okay. Alright, well,
that
we know
was
the mistake in that hand.
yeah, and like that's something really important to like keep in mind. The bet sizing gave away his hand, and in the future I will hopefully realize that and not make the same mistake again because with his draws he's gonna bet big to maximize his fold equity. So it's like actually it is pretty clear that he has a made hand.
Yeah. And I think for me, the bigger tell here is the turn card. If he's any good at hand reading, he's not going to barrel this 7 with a bluff. Because
Exactly.
it
And like
it's a
if he's
card that you're just
barreling with a
calling all
bluff,
the
he's
time.
barreling with bigger. Yeah.
Yeah. So like, let's say that the turn card here was like the 9 of hearts. I think his barrel range there is much, much looser. So I'd be more comfortable calling turn on the turn 9 of hearts than calling on the 7 of spades.
Yeah.
Um,
And we make our range look a lot stronger when we call again on the 9 of hearts.
exactly.
And he's less likely to barrel the river even if he misses.
Yeah. Yeah, I think just folding here, especially against the 23
Sure. Yeah.
big blind open, 22 big blind open. So it would be nice to do this review and get a feel for the table dynamic and how other people are playing, guys, but if we did that and we looked at every single hand, it would literally take all day to review this because there's so many
True.
hands. So we're going to
True.
just skip over the really standard stuff, and if we get a spot where it's really close, we'll just discuss about how it would differ against certain opponents and certain dynamics.
Sounds like a good plan.
Alright, so we're flatting the 9-8 with a lot of big blinds against the
Exactly.
reg under the gun open. That's
In
fairly good.
in different spot, like if let's say I'm sitting in UTG +1 or UTG +2, I would preferably 3-bet this hand because we have more players behind us that can squeeze us out the pot. And since we are so deep, like let's say he's opening under the gun and we are like UTG +2, I would probably decide to 3-bet this hand.
Yep, okay, that makes sense. I like it. Wow, that's a
And
good flop.
that's pretty nutted. And I misplay this hand so badly, man.
Okay.
But let's go.
Well, what do you think you
When
should
check
be?
two, I think betting is the way to go because we still have 9 high.
Exactly. Yeah, I definitely would bet because right now our equity is enormous and um
And I don't even care about a check raise because full boats are not check raising. Full boats are check calling.
exactly. So yeah, I would definitely be betting here with our 9-high. Good to see you bet. The sizing, yeah, I actually really like it. I think it's good. You're balancing your sizing really well against the reg, which is what you should be doing.
Yeah.
Because you would be betting this size with your ace highs, your king highs as well, as a bluff.
Yeah, and I would bet that size with like pocket eights or pocket nines or like ace seven suited or like 6-5 suited, let's say. Like with trips as well. I think it's like just a relatively decent sizing for this kind of board.
Yep, I like it. Alright, so we get check raised by the big blind. You could definitely have a 6 here.
Yeah.
So I don't really want to just pile it all in for this many big blinds with the 9-high
And we have
flush draw.
so many outs, and we can still like the pot is still relatively small compared to stack sizes. He has like go ahead like one street so that we can see what the turn what the size. So he has like still about 2 pot size bet left, so we
Mm,
can comfortably call because he's never gonna jam turn. So that means we can still comfortably call a turn bet if he decides to.
Alright, I think definitely we just have to call here.
Yeah,
Um,
and that's where Bink is making a horrendous mistake.
right. Yeah, the reason why you just call is you want to keep in his semi-bluffs.
Exactly.
There's no way. I mean, obviously, if he has a 6 now, he's not folding, I don't think. Um, but I've seen some crazy plays. Maybe he does fold like 6-2 here if you just rip
Yeah,
him in.
but like we get value on the river from a 6 anyway.
Yeah, or, yeah,
So,
we miss value on some rivers, I think, but I
but
do
we
think,
already blocked 2 hearts, so it's less likely that another heart peels off.
that's true. You just want him
So
to kind of barrel
there's
off.
definitely just one option: fucking call.
Yeah,
And I'm just a noob, and yeah, he folds.
okay.
And now I get. Well, give me a second. I gotta get something to drink.
Alright, no worries. How we doing, guys? Catching up on the chat. Let me know if this sounds good. Hopefully it's...
Bink's a fish. He just shoves with the basically nuts because this guy never has a boat in that spot. He never has a boat. I mean, he could have like 6-5, but that's it. He's not check raising the flop with a boat.
I'm in Australia, Sticky, and Bink is in Germany, right? You're in Germany?
Exactly, and
Okay.
it is. Let's see. 1 1 a.m.
Alright. Ace Queen
Cheers,
suited.
all beer.
Cheers. I wish I could drink, but it's too early.
It's
Against
like
the reg.
non-alcoholic. It's non-alcoholic,
Oh,
man.
right, okay.
Malt beer.
Against the reg on 923 with a flush draw. Against his big blind calling range. With Ace Queen. So, here's the question. Do you see bet here and open yourself up to a check raise and have to,
Yeah.
like, really
I,
be in a
I
tough spot?
think this is like depending on how the small blind plays and the big blind. We can like the big blind is check calling his flush draws. I think most of his flush draws. So we have to worry about the small blind because the small blind, we're making a big mistake if he's like check jamming with like queen jack of hearts because we got that hand fucking dominated.
Mm, yeah.
So I think that's like if the small blind is a huge fish, I would always c bet this because if he has a flush draw, he's still gonna just check call.
Yeah, exactly. But not against an
So and if
aggressive
this
player.
exactly, and if the small blind is aggressive, we just check back. Pretty easy.
Yep. So just a check here. But
And this is like I don't remember how the small blind plays, but
this is the big
um,
blind, by the way.
is this Sergey not in the pot?
No,
So okay. I missed. Excuse me. So
it's
yeah,
okay.
against
It's heads up
against
against the
just
regular.
yeah, I would definitely see bet that board
Okay. Why?
because I think he's check calling with his flush draws, and by checking back, I open myself up to getting bluffed on future streets, and I mean we have decent showdown value, no doubt about it with Ace Queen, but he's gonna miss that board like every time and gonna be check folding, and I prefer to take that pot down right now. And by c betting, and I know that he's check calling his flush draws, we can still make reads on future streets to maybe bluff catch his missed flush draws.
Yeah, definitely. I think there's two ways to play. I would actually check this against regulars because I disagree with you. I think a lot of regulars will just check raise any flush draw here because this is a board that doesn't hit your cutoff range at all. You're very
Okay, that
unlikely
makes
to
sense.
raise 2 and a 3x combos in the cutoff. So I think if he just check raises fairly frequently here, he expects you to fold because you're gonna have a lot of like Jack 8 and Jack 10 and Queen 10 that you're not going to continue because you really can't call and then bluff catch with Queen high or Jack high or even King high, even Ace high. If you get check raised here with Ace Queen,
I
you know
call.
you can't. Well, you call, but it's very hard for you to call turn call river with Ace high.
That's true.
So like
Okay, yeah, you're
this is
you're
about
right about
having a
that.
plan. If you c bet call against a check raise, what do you do when the
Yeah,
river
I'm getting
comes
into
hearts
awkward
and then
spots.
king? What do you do when the river comes like 5 8? Like there's so many combos of turn and river cards that you honestly cannot call after he check raises flop and barrels twice. So by
That's
calling the flop check raise with ace high, you're already making a mistake if you don't have a plan to follow through. And I think it's really ambitious to call a check raise here with ace high, expecting that the guy's going to shut down with his bluffs. Because if he's check raise bluffing you,
that's
he's not going to shut
that's
down.
bad. Yeah, that
Yeah.
is bad.
So
Yeah,
I'm
yeah, I should check back. You're
yeah
right.
I'm
I
confident
definitely
here
misplay that.
like that. I'm not gonna open myself up to a check raise bluff on this board because I think probably if he's a regular, he's probably a good enough player to know that this board is a complete garbage board for us as well, and he might try and bluff us. And I don't have a good enough bluff catcher to bet call, so I'm just going to check back and use that as a bluff catcher. So what I do is I would not fold any turn, and we'll just see river card. Unless he does something really funky on the turn, like over pots.
Yeah,
So he just check calls, so maybe you're right. Maybe he does check call flush draws. Or he could have a 9 or a 2 or a 3, or 6s or 7s or 8s. He could have ace high, he could have ace 5, ace 6. There's a lot of hands he can have. He can even have king high, I think. It's actually a really
yeah,
bad card for him. Because now he can't represent the 9 as well. And yeah, so he's kind of fucked in this hand.
exactly.
You definitely have to call, like every flush draw
Yeah, and
missed.
I do.
You gotta
Yeah,
call here.
Yeah, and he
Hold
has the
on,
10-7
hold
cards.
on. I think he played that terribly for what it's worth.
So you think he should check raise?
Yeah, if I was in his spot, I'd check raise any flush draw, um, and check call like
Like the
pairs, mid
thing, I
pairs,
think,
and ace
like
highs.
think about it a little bit different because when you check raise a nine deuce three board with two hearts, you don't have a nine deuce or nine three in your defending range. I think you are pretty polarized to flush draws, and I don't think you check raising sets on this board. And that's the reason why I decided to see bet, I think. Because when he check raises this board, like he basically never has it. Like he always has a flush draw or a complete air. That's what
That's a
I
very good
think.
point. Yep, I do agree with that. So it's kind of like a who's gonna pull the trigger first? Who's got the biggest balls? Because you know both of you have nothing. Um,
Yeah, like I know that I
but
most of the
you
time
you
have the
in the
better half.
cutoff can represent more overpairs, so you're probably gonna win the check raising war if it goes
Exactly.
bet check raise. You can easily jam it in.
And the thing is, when he check raises a flush draw, let's say he decides to check raise a flush draw, and let's say he turns a pair, he's not gonna continue barreling. He's gonna start check calling because he has showdown value.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's I think I actually remember that hand pretty damn good because I remember that he had the 10-7 of hearts. But I actually really like that C bet in hindsight because like you are never he doesn't have nine deuce and nine three in his defending range most of the time. Like maybe
No.
suited, but pretty rarely at this stage of the tournament against a regular in the cutoff. You're probably just folding that hand. So, and sometimes he's three betting pocket nines for value. So he basically has threes, deuces, and flush draws, and that's
Mm.
it. And that's why I like the C bet even more.
Yeah, Chris in the chat said something really interesting. Chris said about leading the flop with a flush draw, which I really like as well. If you're in the big blind
Yeah,
here,
that's a super cool play
yeah, just to lead here with a
because I
flush
mean he
draw. I
still
like
has
that.
10 highs, so he's getting jack high to fold, he's getting queen high to fold, he's getting probably king high to fold, and he's getting like maybe like ace seven offsuit without a heart to fold, and
Yeah,
that's huge. And
I
that's
say
what a lot
either.
of regulars don't
Yeah,
do.
so Stalpan in chat says either line is fine, both lines are correct. If most it gets down to table dynamic and momentum, I'd agree with that. I think if you have a good read on the other regular and you know he's not the type to get into a raising war and an ego war and try and mess around with you, I think you can
He's
just
pretty straightforward. Like he's totally different than the Joe Santana guy before. The Joe Santana is completely out of his mind, and Gambit is pretty straightforward
mm,
for what I
yeah.
remember.
All right, so cool. I see merits in the check call again because he knows that he can't represent much. Like you said, he can't represent two pairs. He only has flush draws basically because he would probably check call a set there as well. So
Exactly. So he's super polarized.
yeah, that's cool. I like it.
Yeah, in this spot, I go for the three bet against the 20 big blind UTG open because I'm ready to get it in.
Yep, I think that's very standard. I would do the same. Okay, we can fold Jack 9 offsuit. Hmm.
I like in this spot, I like check calling.
Okay.
I mean, you could bet fold because like everything that he raises on this flop has you in pretty fucking bad shape.
Yeah. Um. I mean, we don't have any redraws of the flush, so like
Yeah.
check calling. I think it honestly depends a lot on what he thinks of you. If he thinks that
Yeah, I
you're
mean,
likely
we
to check
still,
call over pairs, then maybe
yeah, this is like a random $11 tournament, so most of the time we're gonna play against random. It's pretty like unusual that we've already had two very interesting hands against two very good regulars, but
hmm.
against a random, I would always check call on this board.
Hmm. Do you have a plan for what you're gonna do on like an 8, a heart, a 9, a 10, uh, a 4
Like, uh,
on the
um,
turn if he bets?
that's a good question. I
Because
would on a hard,
that's
I
a lot
would.
of the deck. Any heart,
Yeah,
any 8, any
that's a
4,
lot
any
of the
9, any
deck.
10.
Yeah, I'm just thinking about it. That's a good point, man. I mean, I would probably, yeah, bet folding is probably superior, and with a hard check calling.
Yeah, I think you can check call with like the ace of hearts here.
Yeah, I mean,
Um,
I don't hate it with the Queen of Hearts,
yeah, the Queen of Hearts I think is fine.
but yeah, bet folding is probably the best way to play the
Mm.
hand.
I mean, the problem with bet folding is that he can definitely have mid pairs here: sevens, fives, sixes, eights, nines, tens, um,
Of course.
all those kind of hands. So
He
by
can
bet,
still have like what's his stack size? Is it like 96, right?
it's a lot, yeah. It's 50
Yeah,
big
okay.
blinds.
Yeah, so he can still have hands like 8-9 suited as well and
Yeah,
7-6 suited. So he hits that board actually a lot harder than I do.
yeah. I think it's just a check fold on this board with no heart redraw.
Okay.
It's just it's very hard for us to put in
That's
chips
true.
now and just make the
Yeah, I
correct play
actually
by the
I
river.
wanted to say check fold, not bet fold.
Because the problem with
Yep.
putting any chips in now is that any line that we take, I think he has position, he has the advantage in that he can bluff or barrel on a lot of turn river cards, and
Yeah,
our range is pretty capped.
that's true. Yeah, I mean,
So
I think I would check some overpairs in that spot,
yeah, but you're probably
like
not checking
tens.
aces, you're not checking sets,
Nope,
and
that's true. I would
like
probably check like tens and jacks maybe. That's the only
exactly.
overpairs I would
So he
check.
knows that the top of your range is like jacks, so he can just
Yeah,
bet any heart, nine, six, like anything
eight,
that completes a combo
straight
that is
draws.
better than one pair. He can just
Yeah,
bet, and you're pretty fucked. So yeah, I definitely would just be check folding this. And now he checks back, so we just value bet. It's pretty
yeah.
standard. And
Yeah. I think I don't remember exactly, but I would like to go since it's random and
mm,
we have most ace X combos beat. I
yeah,
would like to go for some like decent value, like 14K, 15K.
okay. I was thinking a bit
And
smaller, but
because I think we can easily fold to raise, because if he raises the river, he's never going to be bluffing. Taking that line, checking back flop, calling turn, raising river. This is never a bluff.
that's true. That's true. I'm just thinking, how much is a random going to call here with like ace nine? I
I think when he's calling ace nine pre-flop, he's going to
mm,
call a lot.
yeah.
So you can actually go super big, I think.
Yeah, I guess because if he, it's very dependent on him as well. If he thinks that you're bluffing, like if he thinks that you are a spazzy player and maybe you have a lot of missed draws, because this 10 is both flush draws missed and all the straight draws missed. So he might
Yeah.
hero call you here with a 7
I
or
mean, we would
a
see bet
6
flush draws, so
rather.
flush draws are not really in our range.
Yeah, that's true.
So I don't know what it is. Is it 14K that I'm betting?
It's 14k, yeah.
Yeah, and I like it. I mean,
Okay.
you could even go to like 15, 16, but that's so marginal. This is like one big blind. And
Yeah,
like
I don't
when
think it
he's
makes a
calling
huge
with ace
difference.
nine pre-flop, like in these positions, you shouldn't be playing ace nine, should you? Like ace nine off, snap
No,
fold,
of
ace
course
nine
not. But
suited.
if this guy's a random, I mean,
Yeah, and that's why you can go pretty big, in my opinion.
yeah, okay, cool. I see it.
And he looks us up with a 10. He checked back a
Nice.
flush draw, which is pretty sick. And that's why you bet the king high flush draw on the flop
Exactly,
instead of
yeah.
checking back.
You'd have to check fold.
Exactly, he would have just won. I mean, it's the worst turn card in the deck for him, the offsuit ace, but it can still come.
Okay. There's one short stack here, so you're basically playing the cutoff.
Exactly, that's why I'm opening. Usually in the hijack, I would fold an offsuit
Yeah, I
ace.
agree. But with this guy only having three big blinds, you're basically cutoff
Exactly.
raising, so it's looks good to me.
And take it down.
Yeah, easy
Easy
call.
call.
Who's coaching who? Yeah, who knows? This is
It's pretty funny.
this is
Like a
Bink's
lot of people
game.
ask that question, man.
This is
Yeah,
Bink's
you have to
tournament.
step up your game, bro. Like everybody asks, who's coaching who, man? And you
We're
are
just
saying like,
discussing
what
ideas,
the
guys.
fuck
We're
did I do
discussing
wrong?
ideas. I think we're both good players. We're just
Yeah, I mean, you are definitely way more solid because you have a lot more experience. You're playing for like 10 years, 12 years, and you've made Supernova Elite. So you've probably played like double or triple the volume of the hands I've played, maybe even
Yeah.
more. Not even close, probably like 10 times the volume I've played. So you're definitely way more experienced.
So
But
this
let's not
hand,
talk about that. Let's continue. Yeah,
fairly standard, I think. Just calling the ace jack against the middle position raise. You don't want to three bet this because you turn it into a bluff. He's not going to four bet ace queen.
exactly.
Definitely just a call pre-flop. We've got a jam from a pretty short stack.
What it says
It's
is
13 big
like
blinds.
nope, it's
Oh wait,
26,
it's
25.
68k. Oh right, sorry, yeah, I'm missing
That's
the blinds. Yeah,
huge.
it's 26
Well,
big
it's not
blinds.
huge, but actually, I wouldn't hate a three bet pre-flop
As a
just because
bluff?
of the stack sizes behind us. A three
Hmm.
bet because the button is short and the small blind is short, and like it really sucks if he sits there with sevens because when like Zeppo opens and I three bet, like he might fold sevens or eights,
Oh yeah, he
and
definitely will.
I give myself like a good price to just call it off for 20 bigs or like 20 something bigs, and I'm pretty rarely in like super bad shape. Like even if he has queens or kings, I have an okay price and I've got like 30% against smaller pairs I'm flipping. And I mean, of course, sometimes he has like ace queen or ace king, but like weaker players tend to fold ace queen offsuit in these spots sometimes.
I think you can even think about three betting really small to just try and isolate the big stack and then fold to the 20 big blind stacks. You could think about it.
Yeah, it's definitely a cool
Because
idea. I
Ace
like it.
Jack is
Just
really
protect the
crushed,
betting.
I think. By their cold 4-bet range, Ace Jack is just destroyed. You only have
That,
20% equity,
well,
max.
it should be destroyed. Yeah, it
Yeah,
should be.
so I like that. That's a cool idea. Um,
Yeah, I
it
like a
does
small
depend
three
a lot
bet
on these guys,
definitely.
I think. If they're type players, I would just flat because they're not going to, you know,
Shove. I mean, they if they
bluff
are
shove
tight
here.
players and they are still shoving sevens or eights
Yeah, but um, that's
because
not
it's
a
big stack on big stack.
that's not a large enough part of their range to make to force you to three bet here instead of call. You know, like that's two
Yeah,
combos,
yeah. That's it's
four
seven,
combos or
eights,
whatever it
and
is.
nines and tens. So we're making mistakes against all these hands because we're flipping
Yeah.
and just like price wise, we're making mistake with the dead money in the pot.
So I'd raise this sometimes.
I think with the
Um,
big stack on the button, I would just fold.
yeah, yeah.
And there are
Fold.
like three reshoving stacks behind.
Why are you calling Ace Jack? Because Ace Jack really like plays very well against the 100 big blind stack raising early position. He's gonna raise like any suited ace, any Broadway combination. So Ace Jack's a pretty good hand there against our
Mm.
opponent.
If I had to play the hand again, I would three bet small to like
Yeah,
let's say 11.5,
I like that.
12.5,
Yeah,
and
it's great.
then fold to a shove.
Well, we got
Okay, we
aces
get
against
that.
the in position against the three bet. If you
This
four bet, it just
is
looks so strong.
yeah, and I'm a fish and I just four bet because I see aces, big stack on big stack. Let's get 400k.
Yeah,
Uh, I should just flat.
I think
It's
it just
so
yeah, it
obvious
really
that
looks
he's
super strong if
so
you four bet
weak.
here.
Yeah, I mean, and it's so obvious that he is weak because with the value hand, he's not choosing a 2.5x out of position stack size,
This
depending.
size is terrible. You're getting 3
Yeah,
to
it
1.
is
You're not
terrible.
folding anything if you're under the gun range.
Exactly,
His
and he
size is
just
horrible.
wants to have the betting lead. I bet that he had something like Queen Jack offsuit, King Jack offsuit that he didn't want to call and just wanted to look strong to three bet against an under the gun open. And I think like this is his range. Offsuit broadways.
Fair enough. Yeah, I mean you
Yeah,
crush his range, I think. So obviously with
exactly. And that's why
aces,
I
but
should flat.
yeah.
That's why I should flat. And I think I remember the hand because it was live on stream and when I clicked four bet, I was like, oh fuck, I should have just flatted because I know that he has nothing.
Alright, so free flop with 9 deuce. Think we'll just fold that. Jack 4-3 against the limp.
If he is shorter, like let's say 30k, we could just
Mm-hmm.
min raise and leverage his stack. I mean, it's unnecessary
King
variance.
pre-flop.
I think it's a cool. Yeah, let's say he has 35k and now he
Mm-hmm.
bets and we raise and we leverage his stack. And if he has nothing, he always has to fold and he's gonna miss like 67% of the time. I
Yeah,
just
that's really
like to
cool.
leverage opponent's stacks
Yeah, no,
when,
that's a cool idea. I like it.
especially on boards, they are always c-betting.
Because if you min raise here, you're investing 7,000 to win 10. So it
Exactly.
only needs to work like 29% or something, 30% to make it good.
And he's folding
And
67%
he's
of the time.
folding, he's only going to flop a pair 1 out of 3. And even if he flops a 3, he's probably not, betting it. So he's going to be checking a lot of those hands. So his betting range is
Exactly.
probably folding
Jack?
a lot. The
Yeah,
question
that's
is he good enough to just bet bet re-raise like king high or ace high, which ace high probably
that's
doesn't even have with 30,000. He just shoved them pre-flop.
that's true.
It's cool. I like it. Just min raise flop with against the shorter guy. Okay. Well,
Uh, it's the
how?
first time he's three
Yeah,
betting.
it's a really
Just
terrible
folding.
hand to defend as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think we just fold.
I think it's pretty standard open.
Yeah, I was just reading chat. Sorry.
Oh, okay, okay. Yeah, I should probably do that more often. Ali 0510. Watch till the end because we don't want to spoil it for everybody else. But I think I did pretty well, otherwise we wouldn't be reviewing it. Spoiler alert.
Okay. 5 deuce offsuit. Yeah, we can just fold that. Um, really no value in playing that against a guy with a lot of chips
10
and the
deuce,
10
just folding.
deuce. Hmm. 3x 3 bet.
The
So
thing is,
that's
we're pretty deep, and I
yeah,
think
you're
his
pretty deep.
3xing there is pretty strong. I think I can just call it for set value and check fold most flops.
Um,
Like,
yeah, well, I mean, you're
because
getting
we're,
correct odds. It costs you 12,000,
yeah,
and he's got 170 effective. You're gonna flop a set 1 out of 9. So if you are putting him on a very strong range, you're gonna
which
get
I
enough
do.
value.
Yeah, I think he has a strong range just because of his sizing and position. Just a guess. He's random,
Yeah, I think it's fine to call here just to try and flop a 7.
and then I just check fold.
Yep. I think that the issue with that hand is having the discipline to not go crazy if the flop
On
comes
that
like
board.
5 to deuce deuce.
Yeah. It's still a check
Um,
fold. We're just going for set mining. So
mm,
if we don't like in that spot, you can just use the rule of thumb, no bet, no set, no bet,
yeah,
because it you should play it that way in this spot. In other spots, it's totally different, but in that spot, no set, no bet. That's my opinion.
yeah, that's fine. I agree with that. I'm just saying for anyone in the chat, if sometimes they maybe can't get away from overpairs, but if you have the plan of
Flopping a
just
set, and
playing
if
for
you
the
don't
set,
flop it,
and even if you get a flop of like 5 deuce deuce and you have sevens, you probably have to go with your
just
initial
check
read.
fold.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Oh, are we gonna bluff 3 bet here? Or are we just gonna call?
Um, let's see.
Um, I think I'd prefer to just call.
Yeah, I think I like we are so deep, and the players behind us, besides the
Yeah,
small
and
blind,
this
we are.
two-tone one is raising under the guns, so it's
Yeah,
fairly
I
strong.
really like a call there. We can flop so many super strong draws.
Now it gets a little awkward.
It gets a little awkward.
He's
That is
betting
true.
into three opponents on Ace Jack Queen after raising under the gun. I think you just fold. Dude, I would just fold here.
I think with the backdoors you can call once and then give up, because on that board he's like he might decide to c-bet his tens and kings and maybe like king queen, queen jack,
Yes, you also beat King Queen,
jack
yeah.
10, and like even jack 10 or queen 10. I don't think he's check calling that hand. He's like bet folding just to take initiative because he has still decent equity against most of the decent aces and some two pair combos. And that's why I decided to call. And I decided
Hmm.
to turn. I think I like turning this hand into a bluff
Yeah, I would too, after he
because
checked.
I mean we pick up so much equity, and when he checks the turn, he basically never has a 10 unless he is a really good player. Like, and in a random $11 tournament, I don't think people are good enough to check a 10 in this spot.
And the thing
Is
about
that
him not having a 10 is that even if he does have a 10 and checks here, he's just going to check call, and you're deep enough where you have the outs to the flush. So
exactly?
if he does have a 10 and the river comes a heart, you're going to get some pretty sick value by turning it into a bluff here. You're
Exactly. And even
definitely
when he
getting
checks,
hands like ace queen, ace king, ace jack to fold in this
like
one.
I think sometimes ace queen, ace king, and ace jack are calling once and then check folding the river. And I think when we decide to turn our hand into a bluff, I think we have to go for two streets. So I prefer to size up on turn, go for like two-thirds of the pot, maybe a little bit less, and then go a little bit smaller on the river,
Okay,
so that it looks like value. Because when we decide to turn our hand into a bluff, we have to go for two streets because he's check
definitely.
calling with his sets and with his two bear combos. So
Yeah,
I think
so
we have
like
to go for two streets.
40,000 here, 35,000,
Yeah, and I think that's exact. I go for a little bit bigger. What is it?
65.
Well, that's actually pretty big. I don't like it.
Yeah,
I think
I agree with you. I
like
prefer like a 40,000 bet here, but I like the line.
it
I think the
accomplishes
line's
the
great.
same. It accomplishes the same,
Exactly.
but I mean, I still like the line.
Yeah, I like the line. I like it. I was a little questioning the flop call, but what you said makes sense. We got backdoors. It's a small sizing as well. He sized it very small. Um,
Yeah, and I
so we're
think
getting
with his two
odds as
with,
well.
with his two pairs, he's gonna go bigger. He's gonna go over half pot. He's gonna probably go like 16,
Yeah. So he could
18K.
definitely bet here with this sizing with like king queen, king jack, those kind of hands.
Queen, yeah, exactly. Queen 10, Jack
Yeah, queen
10,
10, maybe even ace 10 and then give up.
exactly. And we have like a ton of chop outs against Ace 10.
Hmm.
And yeah, we can just win at post flop because we have fucking position, and position is freaking key. And that's what just happened.
Yeah. Alright, so raise an ace 9 here. I wouldn't always
Uh,
do this, but I think on it depends
I
on the
think
table.
I think in that spot I really like it because the button is short, the small blind is short, and those are the players that would usually flat most, but with their stack sizes they are handcuffed. So we
Yep.
have very easy decisions, and when we open in early position, we are never going to get shoved on by like ace 8 offsuit or ace 9 suited even. So we have easy decision. If we get shoved on, we just check fold. We just fold.
Yeah, so this one, stack sizes,
Exactly.
looks good.
Lol, Steve, Seth. No, unfortunately, we are not gonna pause until he
See.
comes back from work. Sorry, bro, but are you gonna have it in your past broadcasts?
Yeah, of course. Yeah, I'm gonna put it on
So,
YouTube as well if that's fine with you.
so I mean, Steve can still like check it out later.
Yeah, I'm gonna put it on YouTube, the Blair Force.
So no worries, you're gonna get all the knowledge that Pulse is dropping.
Yeah, I mean, I might raise this one, But it does depend a lot on the button, I think, because the button's the guy that is going to three bet you and play hands the most.
Yeah, he's gonna play a lot with me, and the small blind is
Oh yeah,
gonna
the small
shove a
blind's
decent
pretty short
amount.
too.
So I think I prefer a fold actually, just because of stack sizes and positions.
Yep. I think standard is fold, but I would think about it, if they're tie
Yeah,
players.
and I think there in those spots, heads up display helps a lot if you have a
Exactly, yeah.
decent sample.
Okay, so this guy's short. We're calling getting 5 to 1.
Yeah, pretty good I think. And this is a freaking sick hand.
Okay. Well,
So I think there's just one option, check calling.
check call, yeah. That's
Backdoor straight, backdoor flush, and top pair.
Yep. I mean, there's no
And
side pot, so he's probably not c-betting that light, but he still might c-bet here with tens and jacks and eights and nines, so he can
and
definitely
I
still be
still
ahead.
think he's c-betting all his ace highs.
That's true, yeah, because it's also a flop that probably doesn't hit the small blind either, and if he can get you to fold with ace high, he's got the best hand against the small blind, so yeah,
And even
definitely
with like queen jack or queen 10, he's gonna have the not even if he doesn't have the best hand,
he's got good
he still
equity.
has exactly.
Yep.
And
Alright, so
then I
checks
think
back.
we,
Hmm, I mean, I think we have to bet. I don't really see a
exactly.
reason to check raise with this kicker,
Like
and
he's probably gonna pay us off. Oh, he's definitely gonna pay if you river the jack. He
mm,
is most likely gonna pay if he decided to c bet like pocket nines, pocket tens, and stuff like that.
yep,
So I think bet folding is the way to go
okay.
because he's
Um,
not like bluff raising the river on that board
no way, no,
texture
definitely
like
not.
ever.
So you're trying to pick a sizing here that he can call you with eights and nines. I
Yeah,
think
like what's the
20,000
pot?
maybe.
The pot is 50 54.
Yep.
Like 20,
Yeah, I
18,
like
20.
20,
What is
28.
it? It's too much.
Oh
And it's
wow.
pretty funny that we don't go fucking broke there.
Yeah. How did? Okay. Well, you didn't lose too much money, which is good.
Good. Like
If
I think by betting 28K, I kind of saved my ass because if I bet like 18K, he's just gonna raise for value. And
Yeah,
I'm gonna fucking pay it off because the line doesn't make any sense at all.
but you just said you were bet folding.
That's true. So I should bet fold, yeah.
Yeah.
That's right. That's right. Yeah. I definitely should bet fold. I'm just talking
Good
crap.
night, Suicide Queens. Thanks for watching. Backdoors are so overrated.
What is
It's not
overrated?
that they're. It's not that they're. It's not necessarily just the equity, Kagak to me. It's that you can very often barrel backdoors and be more comfortable than three barreling. Um, because you can gain a lot of equity on the turn. So
Exactly. And you can make smaller pairs and stuff fold just because you're not running a non-equity bluff because you pick up active equity by having backdoors.
everyone likes a
And
good
by the way,
backdoor, right, guys?
it's I think it's Chagak Demir. He's Turkish. It's Chagak, not Kagak. It's
Oh, Sh
Chagak.
Shagak, Dimir? Okay, I'm
Like
sorry.
like TSH or TSCH. Chagak.
Shagak, okay, I
Just
remember that.
yeah.
He's always in my chat. I'm
Yeah,
sorry for mispronouncing your name all the time, Shagak.
he's been around in my chat as well. Now he knows. Well, now we know. Okay, so let's continue. Stars nuts.
Stars nuts, exactly. Definitely just a call.
And this could get messy. It could.
Hmm,
Well, I mean, what do you do if what's his name? Mr.
Mr.
Gell
Gal.
shoves.
I
I
just
think
fold.
it's a super awkward spot, man.
I would just fold. It is
Because
awkward, but I would just fold. I would probably.
yeah,
It's just one of those
like
hands that, like, this
it's
guy's
totally
range already is fairly tight. So, and Mr. Gull probably knows that. So he's really not shoving here with eights. Um, some players might, but I really doubt he's going to just get it in
I
here
think
with
I
eights.
think he's still shoving like sixes. I think he's shoving like sixes, sevens, and eights because the big blind just has eight big blinds. And there's already so much dead money in the middle. And with all the overlay, and he probably thinks that I'm three betting my strongest range, my
Mm.
strongest hands. So I think he can pretty comfortably actually reshove
Yeah,
sixes and
that's true, because the
sixes
big blind's
plus.
pretty short. Eight
And
big
that's the
blinds.
thing. Like, if he's reshoving sixes plus, like, what the fuck are we doing with nines, man?
Well, then you have to call, I think.
Yeah, but it's still like my
It's pretty
stack. It's
ugly.
basically my tournament life. It's so ugly.
But I think
Like,
you can argue to not call nines because of future game, because you right
yeah,
now have a really nice stack, and if you get it in for like 150,000 against Mr. Goal, and in a very marginal spot, even if he has sixes and sevens, but you're not really sure, maybe he doesn't have that range. It's just pretty marginal. It's not worth the risk for
and
this
it
many
and
chips.
it's. I think this is another spot where it's totally opponent dependent,
Yeah.
and it's pretty sick river. What do you think about three betting pre the pocket nines?
Nines. I
Like,
mean,
obvious to three bet get it in.
yeah. Well, with under the gun,
It's like, yeah, it's so
I
opponent
don't really
dependent.
do it. I think it's pretty non-standard. It is
Yeah,
opponent dependent, but I don't really like playing that way. I don't like
you
playing
like the
huge
old school
pots when
way,
I
right?
have a really nice stack right now, and like three bet getting it in with nines against under the gun one is like neutral EV or very
Yeah, I totally agree. We
very
got
small
another
gains.
Sicko in the chat, man. We
I
got
don't
another
think you
Sicko.
need to take that really marginal spot um, by three betting nines here when you have such a nice stack, and you can just min raise a lot and win chips that way.
That's
So
true.
yeah,
We got another Sicko in the chat. Potential.
potential welcome.
How's life, man? Good to have another person who knows what he's talking about in here. Because he definitely does.
Yeah, of
At least
course.
what I've seen.
Good to have you in the chat. All right. So
I think this
kings,
is also like if you got like a lot of weaker players behind, always flat
just call.
calling.
Yeah, if there's a lot of regs, I think you
Just like click it to
yeah
make it look super weak.
click it. Yeah. Um. Yeah, but because it's an $11 tournament, I'm assuming that everyone's pretty unknown, and I think we just call. Yeah, I
Yeah.
like it. We
Big hold.
poker is easy, so
Poker's easy
easy.
when you get kings. Sometimes.
Oh wow.
I think this is a pretty clear fold.
Hmm. Well, that's a lot of chips, isn't
That's
it?
a
That's
lot of
half of his
action.
stack. Yeah, that's a lot of action.
He's like I mean, even if he like his range is ace king and probably queens plus because I don't think he's doing that with jacks. He's just
No.
shoving
This
jacks.
is also a very big three bet. I mean,
Yeah.
I
I
think a
mean,
big
it's
sizing.
2.5x, but
I think these days
it's
that's big. Most people in
these
this
days
spot,
it is big. I mean, but it's only big online. Like live, this is still a pretty standard
yeah.
three bet size.
So
But
we're
yeah,
pretty content that this cold four bet is pure value, which would be queens plus ace king, which makes
yeah.
tens a fairly easy fold.
I mean jacks as well, probably. Even though jacks, yeah, jacks sometimes, yeah, definitely queens plus.
Yeah, because I agree with you. If he had jacks, I think he'd just shove.
Exactly. So I mean his four bet is definitely queens plus and ace king. And I was shocked that TDR folded.
Mm. You know what? I think some people would make that three bet sizing with a hand like ace queen, and then just fold to the cold four bet, because people often, unknowns especially, they just see guys on TV three betting ace queen, they just always three bet it, and then they don't know what to do against the four bet.
Yeah,
So
that's the thing with having a plan.
yeah, exactly. All right, so what happened here? Oh, limp, button limp. All right, fun.
Exactly. I decided to complete.
Hmm. You can actually lead here.
Yeah, I thought about that, but like it was the first time he limps the button, and I had
Hmm.
no idea what that means. And
Yeah.
with just 10 high on a board, I think I'm gonna get played back a lot. I don't think it's necessary. I
Yep.
mean, I could definitely. We have a
Yeah, you
lot of good
can. I'm just saying you
backdoors.
can, but I agree with you.
Yeah.
With having no reads, it's certainly speculative because he could easily be limping here like a very wide range, which 6-5 um, is going to hit that fairly frequently. But like the thing about
Yeah.
leading is it's firstly you can represent the king, I think, more than anyone, because I don't think the button would limp too many king combos. He just raised them. So out of the
That's
three
true.
people, I really think you can represent the king
Yeah,
easiest.
Potential agrees. He thinks leading is a good because yeah, he's right. You got two
And you got
overcards to
backdoors,
second.
exactly. Like you have the
Yeah,
backdoors to the flush, and you have the backdoors to the straight. It's just there's a lot of good barrel cards. So,
yeah,
but without any good reads, I'm fine with just checking. But you have to think about possibly leading this.
yeah. I think like the 10 of. I mean, with the 7 of spades is even like it doesn't matter which card the spade is in this case,
Mm.
but because like the 10 of spades is a decent flush draw. With the 7 of spades, we got a three straight flush. So yeah, I really like a lead, especially because we are so deep.
Yeah, I mean you need to have a plan, and the plan is to just barrel any spade, any eight, any. Well, unless you have a pair, I
Any,
guess. If you hit
any
a seven or a
four.
ten, you can maybe check call. But
Yeah, like any four, any spade, any eight, maybe even nine.
any card higher than a six or a five, I can argue for it because he's going to
Yeah,
limp and then call a lot of 6x, 5x. But
it's true.
if you can represent the king, you're going to bet definitely on pretty much any card. Um, so the only cards I would not barrel would be lower than a six, which isn't a spade,
That's true.
or lower than a
Yeah, I
five.
agree. I agree. Sounds cool.
So it's half the deck you can bet the turn. Okay, easy fold. Hmm.
I think I actually like it open because the players behind me are gonna be playing pretty straightforward with the big blind having just three big blinds,
Okay.
and
Yep.
I'm
All right.
ready to rumble with him for three big blinds with an ace,
Mhm. I think that's fine.
and then we can just fold.
Wow.
That's pretty wide, and I don't like it at all.
Yeah, I don't like it either. It's very wide. Definitely would be taking a note on that guy.
Yeah, I mean, I don't remember if I took a note, but it's certainly possible.
So I think after seeing that, we might have to slow down a little bit against
Definitely.
TDR.
TDR shoving tons, and he's opening tons. And this is definitely defend getting
Yep.
12 billion to 1.
Yep.
And I think I like a lead.
I love a lead here. I agree with you because it's the
And
kind of board where everyone's gonna check.
exactly, like overpairs are even going to check back. A
Yep.
lot of overpairs are going to check back. A lot of good jacks are going to check back.
Mhm.
And all these hands are not folding to a bet.
Exactly. So definitely I like a lead, and because it's
And
four way, I'd probably go like a balanced
40K.
sizing, maybe 40,000. Yeah.
Yeah, I like it.
And you can
I
also
would.
lead like good flush draws, good combo
And
draws, two
like
pairs.
the lead is cool. The lead is cool, but the sizing is atrocious. It's just
Yeah, I don't like
so
sizing.
bad. Yeah, I should just go bigger. And then like this is the worst turn cut in the back in the deck, I think, because we're not getting value from all his jacks and like
Um,
sets he raises on the flop, two pairs he raises on the flop, flush draws he raises on the flop. So I think this is a pretty bad card because his range for calling the flop is pretty narrow.
You just lose
Because he
value,
did,
yeah.
yeah, this is like, and I was just like, fuck that turn card because it's so bad for our hand to get value.
I mean, what
And
options do
I
you
think
have here? I mean,
like I don't, I mean we could shove,
you know
but
what? I
he's
mean, I
always
think
gonna.
you can actually block bet call because
Yeah, that's what I do. That's what
he
I
might.
like.
I bet
That's the
like
plan.
20,000 and then just call it off because he might look at a hand like King Jack with the King of
The king of
Spades and then
spades and just
he
say,
goes, well, this
oh,
guy's really weak. I'm just gonna jam it in.
yeah,
And he might look at like King Nine with the King of Spades or something like that. Some kind of Queen Jack with the Queen of Spades, and he was planning on folding to a big bet, but because you made it so small, he might look at that and try and then turn it into a bluff with his redraw. So I
yeah. I
like that
mean,
line.
potential is suggesting 28K and then folding. If you bet so small, you have to call because you're inducing stuff like that. I think I go for like 40K, which I think is a little bit too big because it's like half a stack. So
Yeah,
this is
40k,
definitely
I think
bad.
it's too big because he knows he has no fold equity when you make it 40k.
Yeah, and even 28K is too big. I actually like 18K, 20K, like a sixth of a pot to give him a chance to spew.
Exactly. That's what I said, dude. I said
Okay,
20k.
he said maybe. So, sorry, potential. He said maybe. Yeah, I think just betting small is the way to go.
Yeah. And block bets, guys. Um, well, there's a lot of chips behind, so I think we just call here. Or I guess you can
Yeah,
click it.
I think I click it
I think you
and
can
then I
click it,
call
yeah.
the big blind and fold to the other two. But I think I'm actually calling because I don't mind the big blind going over the
The
top.
big blind's got 500,000.
Oh, he has 500.
Yeah.
Okay, so yeah, I mean, I still like calling. I mean, you could click it, but I still don't hate calling because the
Calling
big blind
looks
is
pretty
not
strong as
just,
well.
yeah, and the big blind is not just gonna come along with like Jack 10, 9, 10, because it's still four big blinds.
Well, he's getting 3 to 1,
Yeah, he's getting three to
and he's got
one.
a lot
That's
of
true.
chips.
That's true. Yeah, clicking is probably the better way to play the hand.
Okay, nice hand.
Yeah, just according to stack sizes, I would prefer a click.
Okay. Another
Man, this
cold four
pre-flop
bet.
action is so sick. This Velasco no bad guy
Mm-hmm.
is Butard.
It's good to know for the future.
Yeah, I've played with him like I always play with him. Haven't marked as a bad because he likes to do ICM suicide.
Hmm.
Flat.
Mm. Well, there's a short stack. Um,
I love a flat.
yeah, I think you have to flat. Just, yeah.
TDR is short behind us. He has shown that he likes to jam a lot. And super wide, the button is short, and the big blind is short. I think this is like a flat and nothing else
Mm-hmm.
all the time with stack sizes. And this is another super interesting hand.
It's a pretty tricky board, but I think after he checks, you can probably not give him aces or queens or jacks or even queen jack. So I think we just have,
Exactly.
I think we
To
just have the
bet.
nuts here.
Yeah,
So
basically.
you just bet and
And we
then
have
don't fold.
exactly.
Um,
I think like 30K, 28,
yeah,
30.
I think that's good.
Yeah,
27.
yeah. I think
No
maybe we
more than
can induce.
35. I don't really think you need to keep it max half pot.
Yeah.
The check
And
call.
that's
So
like
what's this like? Ace
really fucked
queen.
up turn.
Yeah, that
Ace
turn's pretty
Jack.
bad.
Yeah, I mean his range is probably for calling there is I think he's betting ace queen. So his range for calling is probably ace jack, king jack, jack 10, and maybe nines and tens.
Mm. Yeah, it's a pretty bad turn card. So I think we just have to check it back.
Exactly. And I think we can go for value now, and I think I remember that hand pretty precisely.
Mm,
Um, and I think he doesn't have many queens in his range because all
I
the
would have
queens he
bet
has is
river.
he's probably gonna c-bet the flop with. Um, I think if he has pocket tens or pocket nines, he's leading the river to get value from Queen
Yeah,
X that might check back. And I think he's super like his range is super
he's
narrowed
just got a
down to King
jack.
Jack, Max
I think he
Jack.
just has a jack. Yeah.
Yeah.
Um,
So and I think I'm tanking like 11 minutes and 47 seconds. And then I bet like 35K because I'm pretty sure that he has King Jack or Ace Jack, and I think he has Ace Jack because we're blocking two kings.
hmm
Yeah. I think it's like this is one of the spots where it's really, really important to get value because this is a spot a lot of people are not gonna get value. They are just gonna snap check back because the board looks so disgusting for their kings.
I think you lose to ace queen sometimes, or like a queen nine. Not
I
a queen
think
nine, like a queen.
Ace Queen is always gonna see bet, man.
No,
Because
I
like
disagree.
this
I would not see bet ace queen on this board all the time.
why?
Well, because um like I just want to induce. I think with ace queen
So
against
you
your
want to check
middle
jam.
position flatting range. Yeah, I just check jam or
I
yeah,
think
check jam. I
like
think is actually really good
yeah,
on the
but
flop with ace queen.
I think on that board you're gonna get a lot of checkbacks, don't you? Like Queen 10 is probably gonna check back, Jack 10 is probably gonna check back, Jack 9 suited as well.
Yeah,
Like
but
all those
we're
hands are
short
gonna
enough
check
already.
back.
I don't care if I don't care if he checks back with middle position because I'm gonna get it all in by the river anyway. Um, with ace queen high, and if he has like a jack 10 or a queen 10, I crush him so much anyway. I'm just saying that I would see bet sometimes, yes, but I wouldn't 100% see bet ace queen on this board in this spot. Um,
Okay, I mean, of course, not 100%, but I would assume that I very, very rarely lose to Ace Queen in an $11 tournament.
I
Like
would
in a
agree.
$200 tournament, you're probably going to lose there to Ace Queen way, way, way more often than you're going to win against Ace Jack because Ace Jack is not going to pay you off on the river because you have no bluffs with that sizing on that board.
No, I think he has a jack here, but I'm just saying there is a universe where I think he
Yeah,
can check call here
of
with a
course. Yeah,
queen.
I get it. I get the point. I get the point.
But yeah, I do agree. Value bet sizing like small-ish, 30k, 35k. That's what we should be doing here
Yeah, and he takes his whole time bank and pays us off
with
with
ace
Ace
jack, right?
Jack.
Perfect. Nice. Well
Yeah.
played. Really well played.
And this is
Eight
like,
to one.
I mean, we could with our stack. We are
Yeah.
so deep with everybody.
This hand's
And
garbage though. I'd probably
yeah,
just
that's the
not.
point. Like 8 to 1, are we going to win that hand 12% of the time? I mean, probably, or 10%.
But
But
you also have to think
is it
about the times
necessary?
where you call twice with like second pair and then fold more chips. So
Exactly.
yeah, it's
I
just
think
not even
the,
worth it.
yeah, it's unnecessary. Like Jason Somerville would never fold there. He says 8 to 1. I would call with one card, fuckers.
I honestly think
That's
Bink might be
that's
better than
what
Pulse MTTs. Like I might agree with you, Saucy Panda. I haven't played MTTs seriously for like 4 years. I play sit and goes. It's not really like a session of me
it's
coaching
just
Bink.
like
It's just like a conversation we're having together.
super brains talking about hands.
Yeah,
Nah, just joking. Yeah, but yeah, we're just like
we're
it's
just chilling
always
out,
good to have
talking.
different opinions
Exactly. A lot of
from
the stuff
experienced
that
players.
like
Yeah, continue.
a lot of the things that I'm bringing into the conversation aren't necessarily um, things that you have to do. It's just extra things to think
Just
about, like different
exactly.
lines. Like I'm not saying that, um, like checking ace queen out of position on ace jack on queen jack X with a flush draw is, what I would do 100% of the time. But I'm just trying to give everyone an idea of different lines that you might want to think about. So yeah, hopefully this is enjoyable for everyone. All right,
Is
so
that
seven's
8
out of
fucking
position against a
K?
three bet.
Is that 80K? Or is that
60,
60K?
60k. So it's a little
Um,
over 2x. You're getting 3 to 1.
we are hijack against button. Um, think I would call.
Yeah, I think I would call too. It's a little awkward
Because
because you have to play out of
yeah,
position, and this hand's really terrible if you don't flop a seven. But there are some boards where you can still continue without a set.
it's like for the guys that are watching now and asking like, why are we calling now and playing this hand for not just set value? Because the button range in this spot is a lot wider than the other guy's range in the other spot earlier.
Hmm.
He's gonna have hands like Jack 10, Queen Jack offsuit, King Jack. Hence, he doesn't like to flat because these stacks in the small blind and in the big blind have perfect reshoving stacks. Like the one is basically all in, and the other guy is has the perfect reshoving stack with 20 bigs. That makes this hand play out a little differently. So we're not just playing it for set value. We are playing for we can win this pot. Or like let's say the board comes King 5-4. He's always going to c-bet that board, but we can
Yeah, you can
call
just check call,
because
yeah.
exactly, and we're not playing it just for set value.
So this board's pretty terrible though to continue without a set, so I think we just check fold on King Queen, 6 with the flush draw.
Yeah, definitely, definitely hits his range way too hard. Even his semi-bluffing range with like, yeah, King Queen, King Jack, Queen 10, all that stuff, Jack 10. And
Hmm.
I think the pocket fours in this spot, I would just fold
Yeah,
with our stack size,
it's
30 something
acceptable.
bigs. Yeah.
I would play this dependent on game flow more than anything. If we have a tight
Okay.
image, I would always raise it, but I think the way you've been playing a lot of hands, a few hands, and people have been playing back at you. I don't mind the fold here with fours.
What do I do?
You just fold.
Do I fold?
Yeah,
Oh, cool. Yeah, I
nice
like
play.
it. What up, Ashelina? How's life, Ashelina? How are you? How's your like? Shoot me a message on Skype so I can check it later. Want to know how you are? You guys should know Ashelina. Like, Ash is back. She hasn't been around for a while. I hope she's well.
Pure
Welcome
math
back,
spot.
Ash.
I mean, yeah, it is a pure math spot, no limit, but it's you have to also do like run flop equities and barrel percentages. So because we're not playing purely for the flop, we're also playing for the turn a lot of spots. It's just pretty hard to do that kind of calculation.
That's
Takes a
true.
long time.
So what is potential thinking about the pocket fours? How should I call you? Should I call you Chris or should I
Yeah,
call you Pulse?
whatever you want, man. Chris is
Okay,
fine. Pulse is fine.
I prefer Chris.
Okay.
Cool. So let's
Right. So Ace
see.
Jack button first cut off.
I think it's perfectly fine to flat.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you don't want to get four betted and
Yeah, and
four bet and have
now
to.
now it's really opponent dependent again. If we think the blinds are super aggressive, I like a flat even more because we induce light jams by
Mm-hmm.
offsuit broadways and suited broadways, and sometimes out of the small blind even like 9-10 suited in like a different universe maybe.
Yeah.
But I think we induce some light jams and we can easily just snap it off.
All right. Yeah, I like this call because we got the backdoor ace of hearts.
Gut shot to the nuts.
Gotcha to nuts. Yeah, exactly. And his c-bet's pretty small, so you
We're
could
getting a
definitely just
pretty
have a
decent
queen here,
price.
or like, and you can barrel him off it, or
Yeah,
you could have a draw
I think he
himself. He could
like
have like Jack 9 and just be c-betting.
exactly.
So yeah, I
I
like
think
it.
with that sizing, he basically always has like Queen Jack, Ace Queen, maybe Queen 10 that he doesn't like to check because like I've seen a lot of players um, bet this hand instead of checking it on that board in those spots, and I don't hate it.
All right, so he checks turn. Do we want to turn it into a bluff or check it down with ace jack?
I That's the question now. If we think he's c-betting a queen, we should definitely go ahead and
Definitely
fire
bet.
off.
Yeah. Um.
And that's where I think I make the mistake because I think I remember that hand and I think I take the check back line. And just according to his flop sizing, I think we should barrel off because when he bets that small on flop and then checks the turn, he's rarely going to be strong enough to call two big barrels.
Exactly. I love it. So having the
I,
plan of
yeah,
just betting turn, then Like potting river, I think you're gonna get a lot of folds.
Yeah, I think we should barrel off, but I'm just a little pussy. And yeah, I get punished.
Yeah.
But I don't think we should bluff the river
No,
because if
no,
we're
no.
good, we're
Definitely
good.
after checking turn, no, definitely not.
Yeah. And I was pretty sure he had like a weak king
Mm.
when he checks the river there.
Yeah, when you have this
Like
spot,
the
it's
question,
it's like an
what do you think? What do you think with his hand? He c bets flop small, and then what do you think when he checks turn and we barrel off like we bet big turn and we bet big river? Is he folding? I think so. He isn't. Is
yeah.
he?
I mean, probably not on this rundown, but a lot of rundowns, yes.
And you
So
don't
like
think
you,
he's folding on that rundown because all the draws break? Yeah,
yeah, all the draws
probably.
brick, and it makes it less likely that like you wouldn't bet turn with a queen. So
That's true.
he's really that's the best rundown for him with king nine. But think of
Yeah.
like all the bad rundowns that could have happened, like any
Like
hearts
everything
and
that doesn't pair the board on the river, he's gonna be check folding unless it's a nine.
yeah,
Like
exactly,
even if,
because he could
like
easily
even if
value
it's
bet.
like an offsuit six, he checks an I shove. Like what the fuck is he gonna do? Would be a pretty sick hero call.
It would. Um, I don't think you need to shove. I think you can just pot or make it like 200,000. It's
I
the
mean,
same thing,
not
right?
now, but if I
No, no,
mean
not
if we
now, but
bet
in that
turn,
situation where you barrel turn and then I guess pot would be bigger, right? Oh yeah, then you can just shove because after
yeah,
barreling
like
turn, the pot will be
if
200,
we bet turn, we have an SPR
250.
of one on the river or
Yeah,
less,
exactly.
so we have to shove.
Yeah, he's pretty fucked. Yeah, but you would
That's
have.
like that's another really important spot where I think we should have like I should have started barreling the turn. And it's like for good players, for good MTT players, it's a pretty obvious spot.
That's why I have the barrel emote
Yeah, and I
spam
think
it in your
it's
chat.
even more like it's even more obvious because we have the ace of hearts. So he's less likely to c bet flush draws and then check call them.
Mm,
So it's more likely that he has a made hand, and that's why we should barrel off. And his made hand is not strong enough to bet.
exactly.
He
'Cause it's a small
wants
sizing.
to go to showdown, yeah.
Just ripping the jacks with. Yeah, I'd
Yeah.
like this with jacks.
With like 20 bigs, 25. Seems pretty
Yeah,
stacked.
26. Yep.
And drawing dead on the turn. Ship it. Give me a second. I need to go to the bathroom
No
real quick
problem.
and grab something to drink. You can keep the people
I'll talk
entertained.
to the chat. That's all right. How we doing, chat?
Yeah. I'll be back later.
For the guy that with king nine, you prefer him checking flop a lot of time with top pair mid kick to balance range. I think you get into more trouble by checking flop with his hand because people are like the button's gonna check back as well, and like yeah, you protect your top pairs, but you're never that strong when you check there. So like you're always gonna play the hand out of position on the turn if you check and it checks through, and people know that you're pretty weak and they're gonna just bet you off it. So I like the way that the guy bet his king nine. I think his sizing was too small. He should have just bet a standard sizing to get more value, and that way he doesn't get owned by his opponents putting him on a weak range if he makes just a bigger flop sizing. Yeah, the king nine, like that was a really favorable rundown for villain. Turn random five, offsuit five, river pair the board. But very often he's not going to get a rundown that good, and his opponents are going to bluff his ass. So this review, guys, is going, I mean, a lot slower than I thought. 400 hands. We're only 140 hands into it. So I'll just see how much time Bink has, and we might have to continue it another day. We'll just see. Introduce your rabbit. She's gone now. Her Perfetti.
Back.
No, I've never been to a VIP party. Welcome back.
I want to go to a VIP party, man. This looks so baller when you see the pictures.
You know, if you make 10 million VPPs lifetime, PokerStars will send you on a vacation.
Yeah, that's what Nanonoko is gonna do. It's gonna be
Yeah,
a world trip. Like,
it's pretty cool.
and they pay for everything. They pay for like, do you call it
Yeah.
shelter? Or you
Well, they
don't? How do
should,
you
man.
call?
You rake $1.7 million if you make that many VPPs.
Man, you have already made like 2.5.
250,000 in rake. Yeah, around there. Something like that. Actually, no, it's way more
2.5.
than
Like,
that. It's 350,000.
how many VPPs do you have?
2.3 million, I think.
Why don't you have this like this beautiful little
The
one
two,
icon?
because it's a read,
No,
man. People know.
yeah. So you can like, if you want to, you can like um
You can disable it, yeah.
display it. Okay.
Because I don't want all the guys at the $15 level knowing that I've made Supernova Elite twice, because they get free reads.
Do you have it two or just a one? I think it's there. Is
It's
there a
just a
one, a
one.
five,
It's
and
just a
a
one,
10? Yeah,
yeah. Because you
exactly.
only go up to 5.
Yeah, I was a little
So
bit confused because I've never
this is
seen it.
taking way longer than I thought. Do you have like
Yeah.
a time limit on when you want to finish up? Because
I mean,
I'm
it's
probably not gonna
it's 2
finish
a it's
this.
2 a.m. and I want to stream tomorrow, but we can like pause it on half and then do it again tomorrow if you would like to do that.
Um,
And
I mean, we can do it
like,
another time. It won't be tomorrow. I gotta do things tomorrow, but we'll organize
yeah,
a
I
time
mean,
to finish it for
just
sure.
another time. But I think we should probably ask the viewers what they think because
Nah, don't leave it to Twitch chat, man. They'll make you stay up for 6 hours. Trust me.
yeah, how
So
many
how about
hands
we
do we have
just
left?
do halfway for another 60 hands, and then we'll call it, and you can go to bed, and we'll finish it another
Yeah, I
day.
think that's a legit idea because then the viewers can come back tomorrow and have a fresh Bink streaming.
Exactly. Otherwise, you'll be a zombie.
Yeah, I'm always a zombie, man. I'm like
That's
I'm
not true. I've
so
seen this stream.
I'm never energetic. I'm just hanging here in my fucking chair. Nah, I'm a crazy motherfucker. Sometimes.
All right, here we go. Ace Jack of the spade
And
variety. Hmm.
it's a beautiful hand, but I think we have to fold.
Yeah, I think fold's, I mean, the only option really. Unless the guy is crazy. It's not that deep. I guess it's like 16 big blinds, so you can think about
But
calling
his
if he's loose, but
yeah, but like even if he's loose, he's not doing that with ace jack. I'm just calling for a flip, and like the worst hand he's maybe doing it with is like king queen suited, and that's not even sure.
yeah, I think fold's good. Hmm. This is super awkward.
It's pretty easy fold.
Yeah.
He's opening an early position of a 12, no, 15, 16 big blind stack.
Yeah, no set value here.
Not at all, and like
Not deep enough.
no
Cost
reshove.
you 30,000 and you've got
Like I would
10 times the
fold
raise.
pocket eights there, I think, depending on the player. Like
If he's a
pocket
tight
nines,
player.
I'm probably always shoving, and pocket eights, I might actually fold against a tight player.
Definitely folding. Let's just see what these guys have for the fun of it.
Yeah, it's pretty standard.
They have the nuts. So we're getting pretty short. Not much we can do about it.
Yeah, we folded pocket threes under the gun for the people in the chat that are surprised. It's a pretty easy fold with 16 big blinds.
This one here. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's why I skipped through it really quickly.
Yeah, for us too, it's super standard, but for a lot of people, they see a pocket pair and they think, "Hey, we got a pocket pair."
I
But
think you can
with
shove here with like sevens, eights.
yeah, I think there's like where do we make the cut? Sevens or eights? Like I feel like eights is Like even eights, it's like I don't
I
really
would shove
like it.
sevens and eights. I would definitely shove those
Like the
hands.
thing is, it's a non-turbo MTT,
That's true.
and I think we don't need to take such a marginal plus EV spot in a $11 multi-table tournament. I think our tournament live is worth more than all these marginal plus EV shoving spots combined. Even
Yeah.
though like every freaking regular in the world, like that's what I think. I mean, I'm not talking to every freaking regular in the world, but I think a lot of regulars will tell you shove sevens plus. It's profitable, but I don't think it's necessary because we can pick different spots with a higher EV and not risk our tournament life, or risk it but with a higher EV.
Fair call. I mean, I'm think eights for me would be enough value to just jam, but sevens, you can probably argue to fold sevens.
Yeah,
You're
like
definitely
the
not
thing
folding
is,
nines. Like,
no, but the thing is, like, why do we make the cut at sevens and not at eights? Like, there's no, you
well,
don't,
why
you have
nines?
no.
Not at eights. You know,
Yeah, exactly. But I mean, we have to make the cut somewhere.
it's
But
gonna be table
why
dependent as
do?
well.
Yeah, exactly. Why do we make it at what point? And this is always it, and it should always be table dependent.
Mm. Yeah. Big blind short, not much we can steal with there. That's not
Yeah.
value.
This is like this guy has 12 billion chips.
Mm.
I think there's
40
an
big
argument for
blinds.
jamming, but I would prefer to jam with like 350K.
Yeah, I agree. You really don't have fold equity, I think, with 13 big
I
blinds.
mean, we have some fold
Very
equity,
little
but I
fold
don't think it's
equity.
enough. Like with ace 10 offsuit, he's just gonna call.
Hmm.
But if we have like let's say 320K, 330, 350 with ace 10 off, he's gonna fold.
Exactly. I think that
I
he
mean,
actually might even call like some suited connectors here just because he's expecting more live cards. Um, maybe like
and
a
yeah, Candy Johnson is a regular, I think. Most of the time, you can see if somebody's a regular just according to the opening raise, because he makes it 42.2 instead of just min raising or like 2.5.
okay.
Yeah, and
So
this is a pretty
threes here,
standard
I
check.
think is a good shove from middle position now, and we're pretty short with 11 big blind,
Go,
less than 11, almost 10. So it's
going through five players,
yeah, any pair,
and it's a pretty sick hold.
always nice.
This is pretty loose,
Yeah,
and
but
in
I think it's
hindsight, I don't
mandatory.
like it. I think I would just fold it now.
Really?
Yeah, with all this, we have look at the stack sizes behind. We
Mm,
have a big stack on the button who's gonna flat wide, and all the other guys behind us are basically reshoving stacks with perfect stack sizes.
yeah. But I mean, you have
I
a
think I
blocker
prefer fold. Yeah, I
to
mean,
their
sure, we
shoving
have,
range.
but like sometimes, yeah, that's true. But like we are still like early middle-ish position. Like in the
Mm.
hijack, I definitely open it,
I think
but
another argument for folding is because you just won the last hand, people tend to be
yeah,
like,
it's game flow. It's game
yeah,
flow.
game flow
It's
fold.
momentum. Yeah, game flow fold. And like it's like you cannot really prove it, but a game flow fold is probably a good fold sometimes, most of the time actually. Yeah, I prefer a fold. And as played, I think we have to just check fold
Check
or
fold. I mean, we
maybe
have the
check.
back door, but
Ah, let's think about this. I remember this hand, and this Nati PL is or Natty PL. He is a total sputard. He is super loose. Like he's flatting off that stack size. Usually you think it's a slow play, but he was super loose and super aggressive, and his bet size on that board is a tell, I think, because
yeah,
he's betting 80K. He's not. First of all, he doesn't have too many nines. He's not betting 80K with an 8. He's not betting 80K with a 9. He doesn't have pocket pairs because he should jam then. And for those reasons, he only has hands that we basically beat unless it's like
yeah,
ace
yeah.
jack because ace queen and stuff he's shoving.
You
So I think check jamming is
you
a
check
super
jam
cool
here.
play.
Yep, I love
Yeah.
it. With your reads, definitely check jam.
Yeah, and that's what I do.
Perfect. Awesome. I agree. It's a really sick read to have.
Good night, Ashelina. Sleep tight, honey.
Good night. Thanks for watching the stream.
Thanks, Router. Yeah,
Oh,
and this is pretty easy call.
yep. 10 big blinds.
And
We
we
don't
lost
hold.
by.
Yeah. No one cares about results.
Yeah, that's true. What do you say in Australia? Do you say results orientated or oriented?
People say different things.
Yeah.
Like I've heard
And
people
I'm
say orientated, and I've
As
yeah.
a German and not native speaker, I'm obviously always confused. Like, what should I say?
You can say both, I think, because one is like UK British and one is like American. I say oriented, but I know people that say
Yeah, I
orientated.
think
I
it's
think it's the
easier.
same.
I go with oriented as well.
Yeah,
Okay,
doesn't really matter.
think it's a fold.
Mm, yeah, it's 20 big blind open, 20 big
Yeah, and
blind flat. What is this? Like, is he just a?
like these ranges should be fairly strong, and I
Mm,
think Chacons is a regular, so his range for flatting there is ridiculously strong in my opinion.
yeah,
I
it's
don't think
very
he's
strong.
flatting suited broadways. I think he is heavily weighted towards slow plays all the time there,
Yeah. All
and
right,
maybe ace
nice.
jack suited.
You can't really flat as well because like there's guys behind you that can just rip it in. You're
Yeah,
not closing the action, you know.
exactly.
If you were closing the
So
action, you can definitely call
in the big
for
blind, I would definitely
implied.
call.
Yeah, but yeah. I was kind of curious actually what these guys show down with, but there's probably no showdown. Yeah, aces.
Yeah,
So
he had the slow play.
yep,
Yeah, I
makes
think he
sense.
is like super nutted there all the time. He's a regular.
Mm. Okay, pretty short. 20 big blinds.
I think we just take it down. No, we don't.
Ooh, small
Oh,
three bet.
I remember that hand way too good. That's another regular.
So he's a regular.
He is from Costa Rica. And I was just thinking, fuck, 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 what to do, what to do. I have no idea what to do. And please tell me what to do, Chris.
Oh man. It's really tough.
This is like one of the most awkward spots you can probably get in.
I honestly hate all options. That's how weird it
Yeah,
is. Like flatting is not good because it's tens and there's a lot of bad boards and he might just own you and c
yeah.
bet and you have to fold on like king eye boards or you don't know what to do and jamming it's like he's not doing this with nines so
No,
you
he's
kind of
not.
you're jamming
Now we have
against
to like. I think this always comes down to just fucking math. How often do we think he is ever three bet bluffing there?
yeah exactly.
And that's like
Im
how would
well
explain the like I can spoil it now. I decided to jam
yep
because I thought, man, this guy is like is super sick regular from Costa Rica. Like he plays all the high stakes tournaments. Like he's really super sick.
hmm
And I thought, damn, this is one of the few guys in this $11 tournament that might have a three bet folding range in that spot because he knows he can just leverage my stack. And we have such a tough decision with pocket tens, the fifth best starting hand in poker. Like, if I sit there with eights or nines, I'm just folding. And I'm not even thinking about it, like, probably.
yeah
And
uh,
like this stack leverage and this like range leverage or however you want to call it is just insane. Like, think about it. If we
he should
sit
do
there
this with a
with
lot of
queen jack,
blockers. He should be doing this with like any ace.
yeah, he should do
um
this with any ace, and he is the one in the tournament capable of doing that. And that's
yep
why I think, fuck, I hate it. I would puke on the floor. He's gonna show me an overpair there most of like often. He's
If
gonna
he
fold there
calls,
some of
yeah,
the
if he
time.
calls, you're like praying that he has ace king somehow. Um,
And he doesn't do that with ace king. He's just shoving ace king.
yeah. So, yeah, I agree with you. I think that to evaluate this spot, you just decide if his bluff range is greater than zero, shove. Because if he's bluffing one combo, you really can't fold tens here. Because there's too
Yeah, and
much
that's
money
the
out
thing.
there.
And if that's the if you run if I don't know, I'm not capable of running the math on stuff like that, but if you tell me that if he has just one bluff combo in his range, I have to shove. I'm
Yeah.
totally fine with the shove. I'm totally fine with it. If that is the case, because is that the case? Is that the case? Do you
Well, I
say
mean,
that? Do
I'm
you know
just
that?
guessing. I haven't run the math, but look how many chips are out there. The pot is enormous. There's 217 out there, and you're
Yeah.
risking 470 um
So,
to win that.
like, would you
So
mind? Would you mind writing that down and maybe run the math on it? Because I'm just like I'm too bad to do that. Because that is like a super, super, super interesting spot in my opinion.
okay, we'll try.
Potential says call over jam over fold. I disagree. I
I think
think
like calling you really put yourself in the
I
cage
think
if
I think calling is the worst option because we can discount ace king from his range, I think. I don't think he does that with ace king because he's just shoving ace king. And actually, I am a random for him. That is the problem. Because if he knows I'm a regular, he's just shoving with the hand he has. This is like, what do you what do you think about doing that with like two blockers? With like queen jack
well, yeah,
offsuit?
that's what I think Potential was saying, or someone was saying in the chat, is that he probably doesn't have
It
two broadways because he would just flat those hands.
Yeah, but why? You're gonna be check folding there so often. Even with two broadways, like why don't turn them into a bluff? Because see how much pressure you can put on such a strong hand?
Yeah, he could do that, but it depends on what he perceives your range as. If he thinks that you're loose enough or good enough to raise here with one block of combos like suited aces or like a
Like,
9-10 suited, he's not gonna want to turn king queen into a bluff because he's doing very well against your opening range. But
that's true.
if he
That's
thinks that you're
true.
a really tight player and he knows your PFR here is only 9% and you're only raising here a standard range of like nines plus ace queen and you're folding to this small three bet with everything except for jacks plus, then he should definitely be bluff three betting here with any blocker, any ace, any like queen or better, I would say. Um,
Okay. The thing is, like, I'm just like completely different. It doesn't even need to be a suited ace; it just has to be the single ace blocker, right?
yeah,
Because
of
he's never
course.
gonna get to, he's rarely gonna get into a post flop spot. I'm either gonna jam or fold.
Exactly. So it doesn't need to be suited ace. It can be any ace. That's why I'm kind of
And
just
it
guessing
and
here.
it could probably be like king X as well
And
if he
we have
thinks
to
I'm
run
a
like
bit.
fold equity calculation on it as well. Like how often does he fold? So let's say that he's on this range here, which is like speculative. Maybe he only has one combo. We're just being super
Yeah, I agree with potential. Um, like flatting aces and kings in that spot is probably a good idea.
in the big blind.
Th no, yeah, that's like, and I was standing there, and like I'm always standing, so I really was standing, and I thought, like, fuck, this guy is probably flatting aces and kings, and
Yeah,
that's why I
exactly.
have to shove as well, and that's why I like. I mean, in the end, it's probably just a cooler, but like, if we think he doesn't have three bet bluffs in his range in that spot, we can fold, right? It's super sick, but we
Well, if
can
he has
fold.
zero three-bet bluffs, this is only value, which means it's only queens plus
Yeah,
because
and not ace king because ace king is
he would shove
shuffling.
tens, he would shove jacks, he would shove ace king. So yeah, you just fold because you're always dead. Um,
Wow, that's so
but
like
I
we're
think with
always
your read on this guy, you know that he's the only one, like you said, only one capable of bluff three betting here, which means you
yeah,
have to widen your four bet range.
yeah. I mean, you cannot like you cannot see my screen, but if I would open Sharkscope now and show you his graph, you would be freaking impressed.
Mm.
He's insane. I think. Do you know D Hilton 12?
No.
Maybe somebody from the MTT players in chat knows him. Like, I think he's one of the good friends of D Hilton 12, and
Yeah.
it's just they are insane.
I think this is
Yeah, and
just a cooler. I think your play is fine.
yeah. Yeah,
Sizing
I
is the
mean,
key. I actually can't see like what your opening sizing is.
it's 40, it's 50,324, like a min raise and a little
Min
bit
raise plus a bit, and he three bets
to 125, 30.
130.
Yeah.
Like, I can't get a sizing tell off this. It looks like a pretty standard.
It's 424 or something.
It looks like a good balance size to me. Like if I was in his spot,
Yeah,
bluffing
I
with
have a
two
button for
blockers,
it.
I would make this size as well. I can't really get a
Yeah.
bet sizing read off that.
Yeah.
All right.
And yeah, I think against some players, probably against most players, you can make a sick and tight fold, but against this guy, I think we have to shove. I felt so bad, and I think I like punted my whole time bank, and I was like already crying because I knew I was gonna run into it. But I mean, we can always just suck out and hit our 20%.
Yeah. So potential makes a really good point. Um, like a range discussion in the chat here. Um,
Let's see. I have to catch up on that. I'm so
because I mean, it's all going to be dependent on what we perceive his big blind flat call percentage as. Because
Yeah, that's
potential's
the thing.
arguing that.
Like that's the problem. This is again totally player dependent because I am a random to him, and that is the problem. He's not a random to me, and like that is the problem
Well,
because
yeah.
I thought he knew me, and since I think he knows me, I proceed like I think he flats aces, kings, and queens there. And that's why I have to shove the tens there because I think he's flatting the top of his range, which he should against a regular to
Yeah.
balance his ranges.
So potential's argument in the chat is that because the big blind would probably call all broadways, when he does decide to three bet small like this, he's very polarized, and tens plays very very well against his bluffing range. So
Yeah.
like one blocker combos where he has like the ace five or the ace eight.
So
Um,
flatting is actually an option,
so flatting could be good if you perceive his big blind three bet range to be very polarized, and you assume that he's
which
not
it
turning two
is.
broadways into a bluff. Like the
Yeah,
problem,
he probably isn't. Yeah,
yeah, the problem
you're
with
right.
this is that some players, I think, if they're capable of three bet bluffing here with weak aces, will just three bet bluff double blockers like king queen, king jack, king ten against
That's
tight
what I
under the
was
gun
thinking.
raises because they have two blockers. So it's really just opponent dependent, I think.
Yeah, and yeah, that's the like this was the total mind fuck because I didn't know if he knew me, and that was like the only problem in this whole hand.
Yeah,
Because
with I my perception of this hand is if he thinks you're random, I think he would expect you to play very tight.
yeah,
Therefore,
but
I would
if
expect
he
him
thinks I'm a random, I would have to fold.
exactly. So his range here, I think, is does have a lot of blockers in it. Just a bluff. He does have a bluff range here. So I think your play is fine. Um, but maybe if he knew you, he would be balancing this more with more value like kings and not flatting them. Who knows? But it's going to
Yeah.
end up going down to a meta game decision of if you've played this spot before and you've seen him three bet bluff and then fold. He knows you're going to adjust and then start four betting more, so he might start three betting kings and aces again instead of just flatting them. I don't know, it's
I
really
like
tough.
that. Sandman Ness, plot twist, limp 10-10 pre. Yeah, and I mean, it's gonna be sick. How can we win that hand on that flop?
Wait, on this
I mean,
flop,
yeah, we can.
if you just call the three bet, is that what
No,
you're saying?
no. I mean, like he flops top
Limping.
set, man.
No, no. Right,
Like
yeah.
like that.
Oh yeah, I see green down here. Blue, blue. Sam S, you might not know who he is, but he's a very high stakes sit and go grinder.
Oh,
Um,
that's very very good to
he's a
know.
streamer as well, and he's actually done a lot of work on limping outside of the standard positions. So
I
it,
love outside the box
it's actually
strategies.
like I think a strategy that could be good, but it's very, very hard to like balance it and make it like viable in certain games.
Yeah,
But
it's probably not profitable in an $11 MTT.
no,
Like
I
it's
wouldn't.
hard to play it profitably in such an MTT.
I just I don't think he's trolling. Like I think that this is a
No, he isn't. He definitely isn't. Otherwise, he wouldn't say, like, he wouldn't choose the words
he
like
would put
he
a
did.
kappa at the end if he was trolling. There's no
Yeah,
kappas there,
exactly.
so
And
definitely
he
no
wouldn't
troll.
never say it's definitely viable.
Yeah. Anyway, we'll move on.
Yeah, we won.
Hmm. Alright, this guy's got 10 big blinds.
Yeah, and the button has a million.
Yeah.
And the small blind, I mean, he kind of is handcuffed because he commits to the big blind, but X the wall is a regular as well.
Yeah.
Even though he does super unorthodox stuff.
Limping guys, it's like the new school way of playing tournament poker. It's like
I love
2015.
it. I love it. I do it a lot in some spots, and I always get shit on it in the chat. But
Limping
I
the
don't.
button now is fairly common, I'd say, among high stakes players in a lot of spots where by raising you open yourself up to getting exploited because of ICM errors and just stack
Yeah,
sizes. Let's say like you're in 20 big blind effective stacks. If you min raise, like you're just gonna get jammed on a lot, and you don't really want to like min raise call a Jack 10 suited, but you want to see a flop with that hand, so you can just limp on the button.
that's what I do a ton.
Yeah, I think it's great.
Yeah, and I always get shit for it in the chat. And I make a
Don't just
mistake in this
don't
hand.
listen to Twitch chat, bro. Play
No,
your
I
game.
don't. I think I should have c-bet that board.
Hmm.
Even though we
Well,
have
he's
showdown
fairly short,
value,
right? He's got 10 big blinds left now. He's got two times pot.
yeah, like that's the question. Do I bet call it off? Because if I check back, I'm probably folding to a bet on most turns. Like because of his stack size. Because if
Hmm.
I check back and he bets turn, I cannot really call.
It's very awkward, this hand. The problem
Yeah.
with bet folding is that he can definitely just have a lot of bluffs. He can have two overcard bluffs. Um,
Like don't forget that I'm under the gun. He probably doesn't just like do it with, like 9-10 or Jack 10 or Queen
mm,
Jack.
no, probably not that wide, but he'd definitely do it with any flush draw, any pair.
Yeah,
Um,
but let's see if he has any flush draw. Any flush draw has two overcards and a flush draw, and this is a favorite against my hand.
yeah.
So he has so much
But I mean,
equity,
by
and
the
that's
time
why I
you
like
bet,
bet fold.
even if he's a favorite, you're getting odds anyway. So even if you know he has two overcards and a flush draw, you still can't fold because you have enough equity. So if you
Yeah,
bet
so
like 80,000 and he sticks in 350, you'll be getting like not 2 to 1, but you're getting 40% or something.
yeah, and
Um,
that's the question. Like I
yeah,
wouldn't even see bet 80K. Like then
yeah,
I would
you'd
have
see it at
bet
like
like
50, yeah.
120K. And if I bet 50K and he jams, I can fold because I don't get the right price. And now the question is, how the fuck do we play this hand? Because I think it's another super interesting and super difficult spot.
I would just check and then decide on the turn. If he bets small, I'm definitely not folding the turn on most cards. And because like the reason why I wouldn't fold is that if you're gonna see bet fold anyway, like calling a 50k bet on the turn, chip wise, it makes no difference, but you induce a lot more bluffs.
But we
And
cap our range.
do you really? Like you check here with eights, because he's so short. You check here with like I would check any set here.
Yeah, of
I would
course.
also
Do we
check
check our
aces.
overpairs?
So I
I
would
mean,
check some overpairs.
I mean, we should. We should definitely check. We should definitely balance our ranges, but like, don't forget, I'm still random to him.
Mm.
So I think I prefer folding because I think against a random, he's not gonna check stick it in too widely because I open under the gun.
Yeah, okay, that's fair enough. Both lines, I think,
And then like on that turn, if he bets, like we cannot do anything.
that's a horrible turn. No, you can't do
Yeah.
anything. You just gotta fold.
And that's why I like bet folding on the flop because this is like there are so many horrible turns for us. Like a six, a seven. even like I
I
mean
mean,
threes and fours are the best turns, but like a six, a seven, a nine, a ten, a jack, a queen, like there's so many bad turns.
I don't know if they're that bad. Let's say like the jack was offsuit, or was it offsuit queen? It didn't hit the like the spade. Like I'm calling one bet if it's a smallish sizing. Like I'm not calling this sizing more than half pot or just
Yeah.
half pot. But there are some situations where if you check back, you can call turn with a two.
Yep. I mean potential says like I think against a good regular you should probably bet fold because against your under the gun range he's not gonna stick it in with anything that doesn't have like at least you're flipping with.
Mm-hmm.
And most of the time he's gonna have either a five or an eight that has you crushed. I think I like bet folding on flop most
Yeah.
because everything that he's check ripping has so much equity or has me already beat. Because of that stack size, he's definitely flatting his like big pairs.
Yeah, yeah. So bet folding against regs and checking back maybe against some very weak players who
Exactly
aren't
against
going
it.
to bluff off.
Yeah,
Yep, sounds good to me.
cool.
All right, try and
Thanks
flop a
for the
two.
knowledge potential. Thanks
Yeah, thanks,
for the
potential. Enjoying the discussion.
that's
It's fun.
pretty cool. Like, what do you have some background around potential? Because I just know that he plays like tournaments and streams from every now and then.
Me? No, I
Like,
don't.
no, I mean, do you know something about him?
I don't know that much about potential. No.
Okay. Okay, okay. Let's
So
move on.
30 big blinds. You know, this is a spot where you can limp.
Yeah, it's perfect
Funnily
spot to
enough.
limp,
Yeah.
especially with aggressive players behind,
Mhm.
because the wall is regular and I mean Scarpet too. I don't know, but I would assume he's not terrible, just from the top of my head.
Maybe don't. So Ghost of M, so don't want to bring up a touchy subject, but maybe don't open ace two off under the gun at this stage. I think the open is fine. It's obviously a bluff and it's suited. You don't have to open that hand, but you need to have like a wider opening range under the gun than just top 8%. So that's like the perfect hand to add into your range, especially now that we have a bigger stack of 30 big blinds. So I think losing that hand and saying, well, you should just fold pre-flop, it's being a bit results oriented because most of the time, like you would just win um, pre-flop and then well, not most of the time, but sometimes you just win pre-flop and sometimes you just win with the c-bet on a very
Yeah.
unconnected board. So I like the
Uh,
open, but you don't have to open that spot.
I actually like checking back in this spot
Yep,
with the
I
queen
agree. I like checking back.
because we have the Jack of Diamonds, and like I don't even know, I don't think he's holding king high on that board.
No,
So when only getting worse to fold and better to call.
a regular's
So I
going
think,
to play back at you on this board, definitely.
yeah, exactly. So I think checking back. Oh, potential is sick. Good, good, good. Let's move
There's
on. Yeah, I would.
only 15 hands left.
Yeah, mm, I would
You get kind of
definitely like
owned
to. See,
here.
yeah, I would definitely like to see a check back. And I was
You think
like,
about the hero call.
yeah, it's pretty
I
insane
know, against like
because he's not
the
betting. If he has like the 10 of diamonds, he's not betting.
no.
And I don't even think he's like I don't think he's betting like ace three, ace four, ace five, ace six, ace seven, ace eight. He's betting ace 10 and ace jack plus is probably three betting pre. And I think like it's not the worst hero call in the
No, it's not.
world.
It's not. It's definitely not. It's worth thinking about.
Yeah. So he's pretty polarized, I think, to a nine or a busted flush draw.
You know what's hilarious though? If he has like King Jack and turns it into a bluff, then you get
Yeah.
destroyed.
I mean, that would be like that would really suck.
Because I think that can
That's
definitely happen. Because he can,
yeah, that's kind of
check
the
call here with
problem.
King High and then trying to get you to fold, like a two or some kind of equity. Like he might try
Yeah,
and
I mean,
yeah.
I
So
I put myself into this awkward spot because I should have just checked back flop.
yeah.
Yeah, potential thinks it's a fun spot to call as well.
Yeah,
Yeah, I think
it is
checking back
fun.
is the way to go.
You can think about it, but it's hilarious when you call there and the guy is like king high and you feel like an idiot, especially on
I
stream.
mean, yeah. I mean, you had the right read, but you lost, so that sucks.
Yeah, well, that's even worse because like you have the right read, but he's good enough to be bluffing hands that still beat you. So it's like, how often are you
This
really gonna be good
is
there?
pretty close.
Yeah.
He is a
Um.
regular. He is like he's reg, but he's very, very tight.
Oh wow. Okay. Hmm.
That's the thing. And I had stats on him. I have like 350 hands on him, and he plays like I think like 13-9, 13-10.
Wow.
And like I don't know if I'm ahead of his hijack shoving range for 9 big blinds.
Yeah. You just do a chip EV calculation here. I think that I would
In the
probably
big
fold
blinds, I
against a
would
tight
snap.
guy, but
In the big blind, I would snap it off. But considering that there are two players behind me, and I'm basically like, if I go with it and somebody behind me wakes up, I am probably done.
yeah. And like the 300,000 is a pretty big deal. Right now, you can still open raise and win pots that way with fold equity, and you
Exactly.
can still reshove with fold equity. But if you lose, obviously you're like completely boned with 7 big blinds left. So
Yeah, I
I think
think
the
I like a
fold
fold.
is fine.
Yeah,
Conservative fold. I was. Hmm. So what's your opinion here on like open shoving versus open raising? It's
it
really table
like
dependent in my opinion.
yeah, this is like always. It's always so table dependent. Um, in this spot, you have a raise folding range. You should have a raise folding
Yes.
range.
Yeah.
But if the players behind you don't know that, you can just open shove. But
Exactly.
if the players behind you know that, you should definitely min raise such a monster.
Yep. Agreed.
So
So I think on a table full of like passive unknowns, you just shove
yeah,
all
but
in.
like behind us, we have four regulars.
Oh
Velasco,
yeah,
no
yeah.
bad. This guy I played a ton with, Mariah C, is I think actually I don't know if it's a supernova lead, but it's definitely a supernova. A good
The
bluff
name
kid
sounds
is
familiar. Like I
playing.
might have played sit and goes with this person.
Yeah, and good bluff kid is an MTT reg as well. And this like Piotr NL, I think he's a reg as well. So I
Mm-hmm.
definitely have to min raise this hand.
Oh yeah, yeah. Your line's good, definitely. Against on this table, I like it. Got 3 more hands, guys. Then we'll finish for today. Hmm.
This is interesting.
It's awkward. I mean, I don't.
Like this comes down to your post flop skills.
The guy's one of
Is
the
that
deep
an argument? Is
stacks,
that
but he's
like
raising into a bunch of guys that he's committed against. But I mean, you're getting 4.3 to 1. You only need 18%. Like, calling 40,000 here doesn't really affect your chip position too much. You're still going to have, if you have to check fold a bad flop, you'll still have 62,000. Sorry, 620,000. So,
yeah. I think I like a
640.
call.
So I would call and just see what happens.
Yeah, I think I would call as well. We're getting such a good price.
Yeah.
That's a net fold. Don't do this, kids. Do this because most people don't know. I mean, it's so tough to play out of position.
There's an argument for folding against some players. Like if this guy opened with his stack, I think you
It's
definitely
definitely
fold
folded.
because
Yeah.
his range has you completely crushed. But when the guy with a million chips raises, he's raising a much wider range, and you can be more happy calling down with a weak-ish hand like a weak ace or even a second pair eight or something like that because you know that he's got a lot of chips. He's opening wider, and he's got more chips to work with, and he's got like a larger barrel range. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, folding is definitely not terrible.
No, of course not. But you might be losing some value there, I think.
It's true.
All right, this is the last hand, guys.
This is,
So
I
four's middle
think,
position.
like we're in the cutoff.
Sorry, cut off. Yeah.
Um, and Piotr and Mariah have 13 and 9 big blinds and
Yep.
only Velasco covers us, I think it's a pretty standard shove.
Yeah, I'd agree. It's a hand which has really good hot and cold equity, but you don't want to get blown off your hand by the small blind if you min raise. And limping this, I would limp the cutoff here with some hands, but not with this one because
I
this.
think just with different stack sizes, I like a limp jam here a lot. Like let's
Mhm.
say you have Velasco on the button and two 1 million chip stacks in the blinds, and Velasco is like sitting there with 1.6 million as super aggressive. Then why not limp jam? Because he's gonna isolate you wide and he's gonna fold a lot, and you
Mhm.
pick up like another 2.5 big blinds of his isolation.
Yeah, I agree. That's a much different situation though, with a million chips in the blinds and Velasco with
Yeah,
1 million as well. But
yeah.
even here with 10 big blinds effective, like I don't mind limping um, hands like King 10 and Queen Jack.
I think I would jam those hands just because in the vacuum it's profitable
Hmm.
and only Velasco covers you, covers us. And I would sometimes maybe limp big hands because it looks weak and Mariah and Piotr might shove wider, like A7 suited, and then I can just snap them off with like queens, kings, and aces.
Yeah.
And by limping those hands, I don't mind Mariah playing her whole range in the big blind because she's getting a free flop. And
Yeah, you
I
don't
always
mind her
have
playing the whole range when you have Queen Jack suited as well, or King
exactly
10. So,
just according to the stack size, like she has 8 big blinds,
mm,
8 big blinds behind. I don't care if she like flops. I mean, it's super cool if she sits there with like 10 deuce and the flop is 10 7 4 and she has to play the 10 deuce and has to go broke with it. And I'm always gonna be super ahead there.
yeah. I like to shove with this in this situation with this
Yeah.
exact hand of small pair. Alright, that's it for the coaching, guys, for today. We'll finish it up on another day because it's gone on for a while. Anything you'd like to say, Bink, before we finish up for today?
Say something. Kill me in chat if I made some terrible plays. But I think it was like all in all, it was all right.
I think you played great, man. Like even I'm learning things as well from you. I didn't see anything terrible at all. Everything looked great. There was a few questionable like C bets and checkbacks, but EV wise, I don't think you made mistakes at all. Looked great.
Yeah. I like to be creative in some spots, and I don't know if there is something coming up in the other 200 hands, but I think there will be a lot of fun hands. So you should probably tune in for the next session as well. And I don't know, are you streaming?
Yeah,
Like,
I'm
are you
still gonna stream for an hour after
you gonna
this. So
continue? And are you streaming tomorrow?
no, tomorrow's my day off.
Okay, because I am streaming tomorrow. And if you guys want to watch some more multi-table tournaments, you can tune in tomorrow on twitch.tv/binkpoker if you want to. You can also follow me on Twitter. It's bink_poker. I always tweet it out when I go live, so you're not gonna miss out on any seconds of the future streams if you don't want to.
Alright, cool. Thanks, man. Really enjoyed it. I
I
guess we'll
definitely did. It's always great to talk hands
we'll finish
with
this off,
other.
guys, next week. So we'll tweet it
Yeah,
out when we get a time together.
that seems like a good idea.
Alright, Bink. Thanks a lot, man.
I appreciate it, and I wish you some fun for the past hour of streaming.
Thank you.
And see you
See you
tomorrow,
later. Good
everybody
luck in your
else.
games.
Thanks. Goodbye.
Bye. Alright, guys.